They even had a chance to win it. And I still think McDermott should have punted. That missed field goal leading to the Chiefs put the ball in the end zone. It touched Tyquan Thornton's hands. Like, they had a chance in a game in which they had no business having a chance. And so that part leads away. Look, this is pretty simple. They got their ass kicked on the offensive line and got their ass kicked on the defensive line. They lost the game in the trenches and lost the game immediately because of that. And yes, Patrick Mahomes did have his worst game of the year and of maybe his career. I don't want to go through every single marker right now, but it's probably pretty close. And because of that, they did not look good against the Bills. I'd say the Bills gave their B-plus effort. Chiefs gave their D version of a game.
I thought the first half, maybe not the whole game, the first half I thought for Buffalo, that was their best half of football of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
And the second half, obviously the fact that the Chiefs still had a chance late, I can't say it was the best second half for the Bills. But in the first half, and that includes Carolina the week before, I thought the Bills had their best half of football. And you kind of wondered, would you get their A game? And defensively, you certainly did. It's one of those games. Someone was asking me, like, how mad am I? I was way angrier after the Jags game. I'll be honest. I really was. Like, I'm not. Look, we're going to get to the implications. They are massive, and it makes the road ahead extremely challenging for Kansas City divisionally. And yeah, they are currently out of the playoff field. Both those things are very, very true. And am I more concerned about the path than ever? Yes. I'm not as angry though after this one as I was the Jags game, because the Jags game. They outplayed their opponent, and they should have won. The Chiefs got dominated and outplayed in this game. So I'm less angry, if that makes sense, because
yes,
they had no business winning this game. The fact that they had a chance late is kind of crazy.
I'm not going to boil it down to as simple as this for the reason why I'm not as worried, Gold, as what you're talking about, which is a road loss to the Bills is not a thing that sends me into a frenzy. The way that they lost certainly highlights some serious issues that they have. And I'm not going to pretend like they don't exist. And we talked a little bit going into the game, like, hey, we know what their problems are. Is this going to get exposed? And to your point of the way Mahomes plays, I tweeted out something, and I don't think I phrased it well online as hopefully I can in longer form in explaining it. We have now all watched, and I don't think it's just me, Gold, you, me, you, the entire audience. We have all watched enough Chiefs games now. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I say, when Mahomes starts playing like this, you know the team is in trouble. When it starts looking like he's triple spinning, jumping over the back of some guy, whipping it 40 yards across the field, and sometimes it works, and they get themselves in the game, and they convert a 4th and 17, and sometimes it all comes together. But when the game starts looking like that for Mahomes, you know they're screwed. It's how he's played in every Super Bowl in which they've gotten their ass kicked.
Like hero ball stuff.
Yes, yeah. You can tell. When they start operating way outside their system, and it just looks like Mahomes is trying to do literally anything to will a team to victory, whether it works or doesn't, that's when you know they're in trouble. And that started to look that way really early in that Bills game. Like second quarter, third quarter.
When that also happens, yeah. When that happens, it usually means he's drifting to the either left tackle side or right tackle side, and it's because the offensive line is breaking down. I'm not excusing his performance. He was not good yesterday, plain and simple. But what you're describing, and how you even reference the Super Bowls, what has also happened in those games? It usually is coincided, with poor offensive line play. And so it was a perfect storm yesterday. I mean, give the Bills a ton of credit. Their defense, out of nowhere, put together their best game of the season. They deserve credit for that. They were down multiple weapons, and the Bills, seemingly out of nowhere, were capable. Cole Bishop, I've never heard the guy in my life. Anybody, be honest, anybody ever heard of Cole Bishop? No. And that kid, who I guess, we were in our group chat, you said he played at Utah or whatever in college. Like, that kid went out there and was a difference maker the entire game. He was awesome in that game. Never heard of him before.
No, he was stopping everything.
So give him and the Bills credit, but the Chiefs were abysmal on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. We're going to get to what I think yesterday showed as well, looking ahead to tomorrow on the trade deadline. But Patrick Mahomes, if you just want to know how ugly it was, so he's played in 142 NFL games. And as you guys know, the stat by now, it was the first time he completed less than 50% of his passes. Mahomes' last game in his entire football career, last game completing fewer than 50 passes, he was a backup in college at Texas Tech against TCU in 2014. He went 5 for 11 in an 82-27 loss. Yeah.
They give him 82?
He was the backup, so he got in.
My God.
44.1% completion percentage. The lowest for any Chiefs quarterback under Andy Reid. The last quarterback to come close to that, or worse than that, was Brady Quinn when he was 7 for 16, 43.8% completions, week 17 of the 2012 season.
Honestly, shocking. When you put all that together and you're like, wait, they had a chance still? In Patrick Mahomes' worst game of his entire career? Look, some of this is fairly obvious things that I think that we had been warning against. I understood, and we said on this show, I know for a fact, we had said, I understand that you don't think Simmons being gone right now matters because the team is playing well and the line is playing well, so you don't want to talk about it. And at that time, I very specifically remember arguing with people, I believe, about the fact that you feel that way now because the line is playing well and because they have no injuries. Yesterday, some of the line play can be explained away fairly easily. They were at one point on 3 backup offensive linemen, although Kingsley was out for just a short period of time.
One play, I think.
But they were on 3 backup offensive linemen, on a backup left tackle, which they still are until we know any more about Simmons, which we don't at the moment, about the exact date in which he will return. And Jawan Taylor was having his worst game of the season by far. So he was getting absolutely
Wow, the Chargers game was worse, I would say.
Yeah, fine.
This was the worst
Just
game
as
since
bad.
Just worst game since week 1. We were just praising him last week because he was playing his best football for a month, and then they got him. I'll give Joey Bosa credit. As much as obviously we're in Kansas City, so it's all the Chiefs' fault. But I'll give Buffalo credit for some of the things they did. I thought defensively the Bills were going to get exposed. I think we all did. And they certainly did not. They had a great game plan. The Chiefs also did not play well to begin with. I think there was questionable play calling that led, some of it was a product of the offensive line play. We'll get to the end of half decision making as well. You and I differ on that. We'll get to that in 20 minutes. I see people texting in asking about that. I promise you, everything that's on your mind, we will get to throughout the show today. But yesterday was one of those that has major ramifications, right, and repercussions just because of the not only issue that got exposed again, but the real standings in the AFC type of issues as well. I think yesterday's game should serve, though, as kind of a barometer if you're Brett Veach and you're saying, all right, what do we actually have to try to do in season? Clearly, you have to go and look for some defensive line help. We knew that before. But if you thought, oh, you know what, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. No, that's against an AFC opponent, Buffalo, who is likely going to be there at the end. And if you hope to be there as well and hope the result to be different the next go-around, sure, the offensive line might have Josh Simmons back, but the defensive line isn't just going to magically get better. Like, hey, Steve Spagnuolo, we love praising what he's able to do and adjustments and all that. I still have plenty of faith in him. However, at some point, you don't have the personnel on the defensive line.
Correct.
Chris Jones is at a point in his career. A guy that's going to be a future Hall of Famer, okay? Someone that I think most people in this town wanted to get the extension. So it'd be very revisionist history for people to suddenly act like they didn't want it.
They shouldn't have paid him.
But next year, cap hit is a disaster for this team with Chris Jones. But he's at a point where he can't just take over a game anymore. There were numerous years, in fact, just about every year throughout his career, where you could have deficiencies on your defensive line. And Chris Jones, when the biggest moment came,
would mask him.
He would step up and he would mask the problem. He's not at that point anymore. And yeah, he's getting double teamed and he's frustrated and all that is true. And other guys have to step up. There are no other guys. It's Karlaftis and Chris Jones on the line. Karlaftis, the first drive or two of the game, looked decent. After that, they were able to really shut him down. No pass rush. So when you look at tomorrow's trade deadline, look, Jalen Phillips already got traded to Philadelphia. That's who I would have loved to get traded. Since week 5, he's got the highest pressure rate of any defensive end in football. Sure would have been nice to pull off a trade like that. I don't know how interested the Chiefs were, what the deal was.
They wanted to give up a third-round pick.
Who knows, right? So it's very easy to say, oh, how dare they not make the trade? Someone I would have been interested in, but if you were wondering still somehow in that front office, could you make this defensive line still work? No, you're not good enough on the defensive line, plain and simple. They have to go out and try to do something. I just don't know how big of an impact you're going to get from whoever you trade for.
So I'll talk about the trade stuff first, and then, let's look at Chris Jones' number because we've mentioned it on the show before, but it bears repeating based on the level of performance they're getting at him. Every single defensive line snap looks exactly the same. Chris Jones is 12 feet away from the quarterback, being stood up on a double team. And every other defensive lineman needs roughly 4 to 5 seconds to get the sack. For instance, Leo Chanel got a big sack to get him the ball back. I mean, he was dancing around for 7 seconds before they got it. It's not like he got there fast. It was like one snap where I felt like they got quick pressure and got the sack, and that was Chris Jones, admittedly, on one of the reps in which he got it. But yeah, I mean, look at the defensive line and tell me where it works. They got Charles Omenihu, who's no-showed the first half of the season. Ashen Gelati, who's a rookie. I'm not saying his career won't lead to him getting more pressure. Karlaftis, who I think is a better than league average pass rusher. But that's your best pass rusher.
He's not a
right
guy
now.
that's taken over again.
No. That's your best pass rusher right now. And that's the problem, is that Chris Jones has been completely eliminated and nobody else even worth mentioning really in this conversation. And so if you're down to just that, I don't know how you can justify looking at your roster and saying we're not making a trade. Other teams are doing it. The Eagles do nothing but draft defensive linemen, and even they're willing to go after a guy like Jalen Phillips. Look, if you'd asked me today, would I give up the Chiefs' third-round pick for Jalen Phillips? The answer is yes. Now, tough timing, because I just had to watch them. I mean, how many incompletions did Josh Allen throw? 3? 4? Maybe a handful? And so
yeah, they didn't have to go down the field. It was all chunk plays, wide open. You know, we'll get to the linebackers
7, 8,
and stuff.
9 yards at a time.
Tight ends, which has been a bugaboo for the Chiefs for years, and the Buffalo Bills exposed that in a massive way. Get their tight ends in space and ask the Chiefs linebackers to be in coverage and test either the communication or obviously the athletic ability in coverage. And Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox absolutely cooked them.
I'll say, and I saw someone's like, I'm tired of hearing about George. Dude has been getting one-on-ones his entire career and still can't get to the quarterback. Here's the difference. I think what it is you want George Karlaftis to be Max Crosby, to be Bosa. And that's not who he is. If you accept that he is a slightly better than league average pass rusher, who's currently on pace for 9.5 for 10 sacks, well, then you don't get frustrated with George Karlaftis. And their bigger issues are that they, like most teams, are having a hard time finding an elite level pass rusher. No, they don't have Myles Garrett or any of the other guys that do it at that rate. And look, Chris Jones' number is getting ready to be astronomical. They pay him almost like that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, look, this season his cap hit is $23 million. Next year, 44.8. It's not a number you can just move on from. In 2027, if you did, it's $19.5 million. So he's not going anywhere. And the frustrating thing is, I think the days of him just taking over a game are gone. Does it mean that he's not going to have a sack the rest of the year or come up with a big play at some point? No, he's not washed in how people view it.
He's
right?
not inept.
When someone says washed, I assume like the player literally can't do anything ever again. Like, is just completely done. I think Chris Jones is, if you want to say your definition of washed is he's not dominant anymore, then fine. I just view that word differently than maybe others. I don't know how you categorize it. He is not the dominant take over a game player that he once was. It's sad, but that is reality right now for him.
Unless something's going to change dramatically or this bye week's going to send some energy boost through the rest of his system.
They're also asking him, and you can say how he's making the amount of money he should this. He's clearly worn down at the end of the games. Clearly worn down because he's asked to do so much because of the other deficiencies. This goes back to a draft issue. I mean, it goes back to the Felix and Udike-Uzomah conversation where you whiff on a couple picks on your defensive line, you're relying on some veterans and Charles Omenihu and others to step up, and you just don't really have it there.
And so, I guess some of this would be expected. Like you pointed out, he would actually be more to cut than to keep next year. So Chris Jones is
not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. The following year, people make cuts like that all the time where you save $20 million in the cap or whatever if they want to make that decision. We'll talk about that in 2027.
Yeah.
There is a part of this season that's been underlying for a huge chunk that I feel like we're not ignoring, but maybe we just haven't phrased enough. And it goes back to what you're saying about Chris Jones being worn down at the end of the game. We have probably undervalued the just sheer volume of games this team has played and the times in which they look tired. That they don't look like they have the same energy as the team aside of them, Gold. And when you're playing 20-game seasons, 5 years in a row, there is an amount of games that absolutely just leans on a dude like Travis Kelce or a dude like Chris Jones or anybody else who we might consider in there. And there might be a factor of this is a tired team, and they look tired against their opponents, where these games are finally catching up to them. Because we used to say, the game's going to finally catch up to them, and it never did. And so we had kind of set it aside, Gold, for a little bit, and ignored it for a little bit because it seemed like that they were either immune or invincible from it. And based on the way this season has started, there are moments in which they just look tired as a team, or like the other team's effort is significantly better. Like yesterday, they just got their ass kicked, right? They exploited every single deficiency the Chiefs have. Look, if I wanted to be glass half full, I would at least still tell you they lose this damn game every year. They've gotten their ass kicked by the Bills in the regular season before, and the Bills are still going to have to beat Kansas City in a postseason for any of this to matter. Otherwise, it'll be the weirdest rivalry of all time where one team is 5-1, one quarterback's 5-1 against the other quarterback, and the other one's 5-0 in the playoffs against them, and it just makes no sense. And so it's going one of two ways, but they at times look. Chris Jones is like the key example of that man looks like playing 20 games a year's gotten to him. Like he's tired.
Well, he was the most vocal about the bye weeks last year. He was the most vocal about going to the NFL office in the NFLPA around last year when the scheduling was kind of quirky and the bye week, member, was super early. And when you are getting to the age that Chris Jones is getting to, where he's sitting at 31 years old and has been in this league for 9+ years, there's a chance that's part of it. I don't want to eliminate the full picture. Sure, he is being double teamed. There is no secret about that, and that is making his life very difficult. And if you don't have other players that are winning, then it results in what you're seeing on the defensive line. The prior weeks, taking on Washington, taking on the Raiders, taking on even Jared Goff and the Lions, your offense was in a position where you weren't asking your defense to go and consistently make stop after stop after stop. Well, when the competition is up against Buffalo, who clearly is still one of the top contenders in the AFC, you are going to need your best players on the field a bit more, and I think they're extremely worn out.
And
that's
you're going to have to play better against those best teams. They played their worst games against their better opponents.
On the flip side, I think that's why the Bills' defense was so much better yesterday. Not just the issues that the Chiefs themselves created, but, Cody, they got a couple players back from injury/suspension. As much as they were missing, Ed Oliver and missing some cornerbacks, and maybe we underestimated this, they got Michael Hoyt back and some others that they were able to rotate their defensive line. They weren't asking Joey Bosa.
They just lost another guy.
I know, yeah. They weren't asking, and Hoyt got hurt, I think. They weren't asking Joey Bosa, who was awesome yesterday, to play as many snaps as they were asking him to play the 3 weeks prior to that. And so you have a true rotation to a certain extent on your defensive line. The Chiefs just don't have those bodies. We kind of knew about it. It just got exposed in a massive way yesterday against the Buffalo Bills.
Like the text line saying, don't worry, the league wants 18 games now, so a crappy product. Yeah. Look, that definitely will have a larger impact on just the whole thing in the way that the league is going. But yeah, I'm not trying to say, I still think, Golden, we can talk about I still think they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. I still think that they can improve in a lot of these areas. And I don't think that this is an unusual game to lose, especially when you play bad football, which they certainly did in this game. There were and we'll talk maybe later in the noon, like one of the 2 or 3 encouraging things that maybe came out of this game, because there certainly were negatives. And sometimes this is it goes to the front office part of it too. I think we'll talk in the, some of the offseason signings and the other people available and the stuff that could have certainly improved the position you're in. The Bills were the better team. I underestimated their ability to dominate on the offensive defensive line. Easily the most frustrating part for me, though, was their inability to get the offense going, because that Bills defense was not playing good defense going into that game. They were struggling. Look, the Bills moving the ball? Yeah, okay. I could see that one coming. The Bills defense was not playing good football going into that game, and the Chiefs offense was humming. And then they came to a screeching halt in that game where their effectiveness largely, I think, starting with the offensive line and their issues there. And look, Andy Reid's not going to talk today. It's a bye week. You will not hear from the Kansas City Chiefs front office or players until next Monday is the next time they will speak. So I can't tell you if Jawan Taylor's ankle's okay. Maybe Nate Taylor can tell us tomorrow, whatever. I can't tell you if Simmons is expected to be back. I think someone found that he reactivated his Instagram page. If that means anything.
Yeah, he did.
I can't tell you if Simmons is going to be back. I can't tell you if Jawan Taylor's ankle is just a minor one and he'll be fine for 2 weeks from now. But it's they'll have 2 weeks. I will say, I do think the bye week is coming at a very good time, in the sense that I think this is a really good evaluation time. Right at the trade deadline, right as you're playing your worst football game of the season, let's figure out kind of where you are. I don't think that that's the worst thing in the world.
No, it's one of the rare times where you're happy about the buy. Now, it's funny how we do this, though, because admittedly, let's be honest, if the Chiefs would have dominated the Bills, people would say, I don't want the buy. They're rolling right now. So it's funny how
coming at a good time now.
I agree. I'm with you, but we do this, I think, as sports fans all the time.
Yeah.
Like that how quickly things shift. A week ago today, and they still are actually Super Bowl favorites, but a week ago today, it's like, oh my gosh, this offense is unstoppable. They're the best team in football. Nobody can get them. Look out, rest of the NFL. Spags has done it again. And look, I've said some of these things too, so have you. And then now it's like the world is ending. So it's funny how quickly.
I still think they can win the Super Bowl and all the things. Just not the way they played yesterday.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call. We'll find out, was it a wake-up call for the team as well? Was it a wake-up call for the front office perhaps to see if they can make a move before the deadline? But I will caution the trade deadline conversation. One, it usually is more hype than actual result. And usually when you make a trade at the deadline, that player you trade for does not have, and I'm not just talking the Chiefs example last year, DeAndre Hopkins. I'm talking about like across the NFL. Even Jalen Phillips, who I wanted the Chiefs to trade for, I'm not so sure he has as big of an impact as we all think he's going to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look,
I want them to go make a move, but I don't think necessarily the move that they make is just going to solve all. Now, it helps, and that's all you're asking. You're trying to get incremental improvement for a defense on the defensive front that is really struggling.
For the most part, the guys on the team are the people who are going to have to fix it. There's just no doubt about that. I'm just hoping a trade deadline could maybe offer a little bit more in that regard.
All right, coming up next, let's talk about how the end of the first half went. You and I differ on this. We'll discuss that and something that the NFL clearly has to fix, which is a loophole. We'll explain what it is next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who's going to win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Tonight, FanDuel is giving all customers a 30% profit boost token. That's right. You can get on the action with a 30% PBT this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Whatever you want to bet, just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to bet on the game. That's FanDuel.com/Alex. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Within the cities we call home, Busey Bank is more than a name. It's a commitment to your dreams. With Busey, trusted guidance is tailored to empower you every step of the way. Whether it's seamlessly managing your finances or planning for your future, Busey is dedicated to your financial success. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
The Chiefs have been scoring a ton of points lately, and that means I'm saving a ton of money at Hy-Vee. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs because I score big fuel savings when I shop Hy-Vee the day after any Chiefs game. Win or lose, I'll earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents a gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. So the more we score, the more I save, only for my friends at Hy-Vee.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for Hy-Vee's Holiday Baking Sale. Make your list and check it twice. Time to stock up on the sweetest deals of the year, like Hy-Vee sugar, $1.99, brown sugar, $1.48, Hy-Vee butter, $2.49, peanut butter, $1.88, and don't forget the Hy-Vee pumpkin pie filling, just 88 cents. Jump in your sleigh and dash away this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Sarah at the Department of Rejected Dreams. If you had a dream rejected, IKEA can make it possible.
I've always dreamed of a beautiful kitchen, but my wife just wants to stay organized.
You know what they say about opposites.
That they can't agree on a kitchen?
Well, IKEA kitchens come in many styles with a variety of customizable organizers. So maybe you're not opposites at all.
Beautiful and organized. Now we just have to figure out what to eat.
That's a different department. Get the kitchen of your dreams at a price you didn't dream possible at IKEA.US/dreamkitchen. Dream the possibilities.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
All right, we're just getting started here on a Monday. 913-586-7965, Jay's Southland Tow Service text line. We'll take your calls coming up in the Chiefs Red half hour, 1 hour from now. Anytime there's as I said, kind of a big shift in perhaps how people are feeling about a season, that's when we like to open up the phone line. So we'll get to that 1 hour from now. Of course, Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but these days you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started. I saw a bunch of texts on this. You and I were going back and forth on our group chat and the rundown yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was the sequence right before halftime. So obviously you guys know what we're talking about. Chiefs get a massive completion.
3 plays, they're down to the 1 yard line.
Hollywood Brown down right at the 1. Thought it was a touchdown at first, and then he was clearly down at the 1. First and goal. The Chiefs go shotgun formation. Hunt to the left of Mahomes. They get stuffed. And then it falls apart on second and third down. Mahomes, I think, misses a wide open Travis Kelce on second down, if I have my right order of plays.
Yeah, he was like sliding to the right and Kelce flashed wide open in the middle.
At that point, it's a 2-possession game. Of course, you want to get 7. They settle for a chip shot 19-yard field goal. You hated the decision.
Yes.
Explain it, and then I have a different point of view on it.
So, first, one of the underrated parts of the Chiefs having a bad game was I thought Andy had an awful game. Awful. I thought the game plan was bad. I thought the play calling was bad. And I thought he made 2 what I thought were insane decisions. One was the 4th and 17 he got. So I'm not even trying to revision his history yet. I'm like, what are you doing? There's 14 minutes left in this game. You're down 2 scores. Every team in the NFL punts in this scenario. Going for 4th and 17 here is crazy. And he got it to, they had a great game, a great play call for whatever the hell it's worth. So we can talk about that call in a minute. It's idiotic. It was like, you know what it was? It was, my biggest problem was it was like Andy, who had been hyper aggressive, finally figured it all out in the weirdest moment, turtled into a scared little boy and just decided he wouldn't go for it from the 1-yard line. If you are on the 1 in a game in which a team is easily handling you, in which you are down 2 scores and you're sitting at the 1-yard line and you're on the road and a team is beating your ass, that is the time to put it in. You're supposed to be one of the better offenses in the NFL. Get a yard. And I know you failed 3 times in a row. I happen to think that the Chiefs are very unlikely to fail 4 times in a row from the 1-yard line, and that is a moment in which Andy has been more aggressive in different spots of football games. I was stunned he decided to kick the field goal. I thought it was a really, really egregiously bad decision.
Yeah. So also the fact that he went for the 2-point conversion, the possession early was a great sign too. Late, like that was something in the past.
There was some other aggressiveness.
In the past, he would have just kicked the extra point.
Oh yeah.
So look, we differ on this. I'm not saying that there isn't some logic to what you're saying. Of course there is. Like there's an argument, no doubt, that they should have gone for it on 4. I'm not acting like there's zero. Yeah. Of course there's an argument. I didn't have as big of an issue with it for a couple reasons. Number one, my issue with it was more play calling / execution prior. Like obviously
there was a play calling problem.
Obviously, I wanted 7 before halftime. Duh. I think part of it is, and you tweeted it before it happened. I'll give you credit, but a lot of people were upset because the result ended up being not what we wanted, which was 7. Like, does that make sense?
I
versus
both
the 3?
The 4th and 17 and that.
Because a couple things like you look at the first down play call. We know, like we can. I'm not going to even bring up the QB sneak because we've done this for 5 years now.
I would like that.
They're not going to do that. Yeah, sure. Otherwise, no kidding. Just do a damn QB sneak and let's move on with our lives. And they probably get a touchdown. The other thing is though, they have over the last month been running the ball better when they go under center. So why at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal, 23 seconds to go, with a timeout in your pocket, you don't go under center. You run a draw play essentially with Kareem Hunt. I don't know. Maybe it was not a draw play officially,
but an under center run
or under a shotgun. Run. So you get stuffed. You're on the 1-foot line, and then on the next play, after that fails, I thought Mahomes missed a wide open target in the back of the end zone. So then you're set up on the 3rd down. So my issue is more the execution. Once you failed on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, I didn't have as big of an
you're like, get points.
I didn't have a big of an issue because momentum was all on the Bills' side of things. You're going into halftime. Yes, you get the ball to start the second half, but it's a 2-possession game. You get the field goal. It does make it a 1-possession game. You get the opening drive with a chance to tie the game by the time you get to the 10-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Of course, that did not happen. They go 3 and out right away out of the half. So I didn't have as big of a problem, and I know you weren't bringing this up. I saw a lot at the end of the game. People were saying, well, see, they would only be down 3 if they got a touchdown. That is completely ignoring also the potential result of that they get 0 points, as in they fail on the 4th down. I know you're not saying this, but we can also not act like going for 4th down that it was a sure thing. People are acting as if the only other option was they get 7. No, the other option is that they get 0 before halftime. No momentum, and I know in hindsight they lost the game, so nobody cares about that. But at the time, you had no momentum, and Buffalo would not have kicked that ridiculous long field goal try that they tried at the end. They would have probably punted it, pinned the Chiefs back with 20 seconds to go, down 3. Yes, so
there's too big of a butterfly effect to know if it would have mattered at the end. I agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
That's too far to stretch it. It's just in a season in which Andy Reid has been his most aggressive. This is the easy one. If you're an aggressive coach who goes for it on 4th down, who this season, I know in the first 3 plays they weren't, But this season has been one of the best short yardage teams in the NFL. That's a go. Like, that's a go for me 100% of the time. It's worth the risk 100% of the time.
Yeah, but they were not willing to go under. So part of this is where we get into the analytics stuff that I get frustrated with at times, because I know the probability says like they would have increased it by 5% by going for it instead of kicking the field goal. I understand what the math says there, and you and I are certainly not anti-analytics by any means. However, this is where I get frustrated with it, because it is also there's no analytics can tell me this reality, which is what we just said happened on first down. Not that they didn't work, that Andy Reid and Matt Nagy went out of shotgun on the run. What you're saying is, hey, they should be able to run the ball. Yeah, the analytics cannot factor for the fact that clearly they were not willing to go under center in that spot.
Or QB sneak, or
that's
a million
my only
other
thing.
things.
Like that,
sure.
The numbers do not factor in that the Chiefs, unlike 31 other teams in the league, are willing to do tush push, some variation, or go under center with their quarterback in a QB sneak. The analytics are not factoring that in unless someone has some different numbers to show me. That factors in the trickle-down effect and the repercussions. The analytics do not factor in what the potential play call might be.
This is why I had a huge issue with Andy Reid's day. And look, everybody can have a bad day at their job. Patrick Mahomes had a bad day at his job.
Yeah.
Chris Jones had a bad day at his job. Lots of people did. Andy Reid's decision-making in this game, the only way I can describe it is chaotic and without flow. Because to not go for it there, but then go for it on the 4th and 17. But he'll run designed runs with Mahomes, but not do QB sneaks. Like in this game in particular, his methodology was like, hey man, are you just like throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks?
Yeah, I don't think there was a design run today though. He has in the past. But yesterday there was not a design run.
Is there some logic in what you're going with here? You know, you ran it under center more, but you're on the 1 yard line. And by the way, later on in that game, they had to go for it on a 4th down. And you know what they did? They ran it under center and got a touchdown.
It makes no sense.
So,
makes no sense
Andy
sometimes.
had an insanely chaotic day. And that was just the first one of what are you doing? You know you have to go for it. In my mind, you know you have to go for it here. And some of it is, Gold, if the game was going differently, I wouldn't even think it's crazy, what your argument's hey, the game, and let's just get the points, and we're getting the ball back. But it felt like the entire time that game was at a razor's edge of slipping away. And to your point, maybe you're saying is if you go for it and don't get it, then it has slipped away. But in my mind, is it was your chance to not just try to keep them from keeping control and instead taking it away. All they were doing in my mind in the aggressiveness thing by kicking the field goal was making sure they didn't let the Bills get even more in control. Not take control back, not regain control of the game. Just let
it's
it.
Fine.
Yeah,
we just
fine,
disagree on the logic. I'm at the time making a 1-possession game. I get the ball to start the second half. You hope you're not going 3 and out. They
played a lot better offensively in the second half of these recent games. Washington, they got it together certainly in New York and some others where they've come out and fired a little bit better. And I didn't think they felt way off in the first half.
But where I agree with you though is at times yesterday the play calling did not make a whole lot of sense, and it's not just because it did not work. Right? This is not of course I like all the plays that work. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Truly, what their refusal in that certain situation at the 1 to not go under center, I keep saying it, makes no sense. And we've been dreaming of the day where they just put in Gardner Minshew for a QB sneak. I don't know why. I truly do not know why they won't even be willing to do that. Well, the defense will know something's up. It still will work at a 90-something% clip, as a matter of fact, because the numbers say that it does.
I guess that's where I'm surprised that you were against or fine with the kick. Is the only thing is kind of what you're mentioning is. This is some of our stuff is out here because we live tweet thoughts during all this stuff.
Yeah.
After they had gone for the 4th down on the plus side of the football field on the 4th and 3 to try to get the first down, didn't get it. On the show, we've definitely said that, and I said it there, which was, I'm fine with them going for this because I want them to go for it again the next time. And then the next time came up and Andy was like, nah, pass. Yeah. You're like, come on, man. You had it. I said I'm cool with it because it all comes down to 4th down, and this is one thing. The Gold, you're right that it does include the under center run. But there is one universally, statistically true thing about being one of the more aggressive ones, which is it works to be aggressive because you have to do it way more because the payoff is when if you don't get the 4th and 3, but you do later, it is at worst a net nothing, right? It doesn't hurt you. But if you don't go for 4th and 3, you go for it on 4th and 3, don't get it, and then later don't go for it, it is a negative. that you didn't get that fourth down later. It's like negating the previous decision is the problem.
All right, one of the other controversial moments, and this by no means is do I think this is why the Chiefs lost, but it is
I hate
still
that we have to say that first, but you do.
But you do because everybody freaks out otherwise. The NFL has to close a loophole that I didn't know existed. We're talking about the intentional grounding play where Mahomes has the pass tipped, and much like we see with pass interference, Andy Reid thought too, because he was about to throw the challenge flag and actually did, and they were told they can't review it. The ball's tipped, like on a pass interference call, there's no pass interference if the ball is tipped. We all know this, right? We've all watched football enough. So on intentional grounding, you would think, well, the ball's tipped, it can't be intentional grounding, which is true. If it's tipped, it's not intentional grounding. I would also think that you can quickly do the old expedited review upstairs, right? Why the hell would you not?
Sure.
Turns out you can't.
Unbelievable.
So, one, the officials on the field got it wrong to begin with because nobody else saw it was tipped. So that's just an error. And then, two, the league does not allow you to expedite that. So that's a loophole that just has to be, like, I'm sure it will be now. Like, that has to be cleaned up in the offseason. It's unfortunate that it hurt the Chiefs there. But, I mean, could you imagine the outrage? We're talking about it today, but like, can you imagine the outrage if the... Oh, yeah. How is that? This is where the replay makes no sense in the NFL. I do not want every single play to be reviewable and every single call to be reviewable and every single penalty. But we're not talking about reviewing the penalty. It's the same thing as pass interference. If the ball is tipped, they do a quick expedited review and the flag goes away. They're not waving off the penalty as much as they are saying the ball is tipped. And that should have happened here with the intentional grounding.
I genuinely, this just goes back to like a broader point, and then we can talk about this individual play. I hate replay. I wish it didn't exist. I wish they never brought it in. Like, I don't feel like they add layers and layers and layers, and then they still just can't change calls to be correct. There's no point. Calls are going to get missed all the time, so just get rid of replay, get it out of my face, and I don't care. And just let refs make human error in decisions in there. Because what's funny about that is they didn't call it in the moment, have a little powwow, then decide to throw the flag, which happens all the time in those cases. I'm not saying that looks weird. Sure. Decide to call a powwow, throw the flag. Then Andy's like, whoa, ball was tipped, and they can't do anything about it? And I'm not saying the refs technically didn't get the unreviewable part wrong, but they did get They missed the initial call. They missed the initial call. And look, we've had our own issues with Sheffers, and I've told you before, I in no way. The way the Chiefs played yesterday, if you think I think that one play was the reason they lost the football game, hell no. But it's also just...
So I'm bringing it up because it's a loophole that the NFL, for any other team, by the way, whether you're a Bills fan, whether you're a Broncos fan, that's something that you should want cleaned up in the NFL. The fact that they can expedite review a tip pass for a PI call, then they should be able to do it for intentional grounding. That's it.
It just feels
Someone
like a
says
miss.
you guys are sounding like a Bills fan. The difference is we're not saying that's why the Chiefs lost the game. That'd be the difference.
No, we want refereeing to be better. And if they're going, my whole thing is, if you were going to implement these thousands of layers of replay, and now include Gold, right? We've seen first down markers get changed. We've seen digital measurements in the last couple of plays. We've seen them make Terry McLaurin catches with assisted with replay assist, and it's fine. That was a catch by Terry McLaurin. If replay assist is there to help and call things a catch, great. All we're saying is that I want it to actually do something in moments in which a call is wrong, or I want it to go away altogether. I don't care which it is. Either make it so that it fixes bad calls more often than it feels like it does, or it just goes away and I don't have to think about it anymore, and it's just up to the man on the football field making a decision. I also think that, admittedly, some of this is because we are tired in Kansas City of having to see every single national media member make a massive mountain out of any single minor call that might hypothetically look like it benefits the Chiefs. And it was crickets on the tipped pass. And so that part is just well, that's just annoying from a personal standpoint. Not that I think it changed the game or that refereeing is rigged against the Chiefs. I don't think any of that stuff. It's just would you like to make a big deal about refereeing at this moment when it's all so bad?
Yeah, it's just, and like you said, this is more just, it's more of the complaining side of it. It's every, aggregator social media account. If it was the same thing that would have happened to the Bills, would have tweeted out and said, oh my God, this is suspicious. This is really weird how the NFL did this in favor of Kansas City. Every lazy national media member would have made a big, that, as you said, I think is more of a Kansas City, solely an issue with for Chiefs fans to be frustrated with. I'm just saying that rule yesterday, that there's a clear loophole, has to be closed in the offseason. That's all.
Yeah, it was just like it was such an annoying play.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we're going to talk about the 5-4 start going into the bye week, and just how worried are you guys about the division, about the playoffs, about other aspects of this team. The odds will tell you the Chiefs are still favorites to win the Super Bowl, but are you buying that? We'll get to that in 15 minutes or so. Briefly, I do want to touch on what ended up being an all-time game on Saturday, and that, of course, was Game 7 of the World Series in Toronto. We all know the Dodgers go back-to-back as World Series champs for the first time since the Yankees did it, and obviously going back on the NL side to the Big Red Machine there in Cincinnati. The Yankees did win 3 in a row, so the Dodgers still have that to chase from a historical standpoint. Yeah. But that was truly one of the best baseball games I've ever seen in my life. And I understand, we're partial to the AL wildcard game here in Kansas City. That's the best one because it involved the team that I grew up rooting for, and I was at the game.
Hits, not just home runs, so it had a little more juice for me. But
that was the best World Series game I've ever seen in my life, considering what was at stake and the ups and downs, the decision making, the
bases loaded jams and close calls and collisions in the outfield to save games.
Everything. It had absolutely everything. Pinch hit home runs.
Yep. It was, look, and you never want to be like prisoner of the total moment. I'm not sure if it's the greatest World Series of my lifetime. I'm sure it's probably one of.
That game was. I don't know if the whole World Series was.
Yeah, because some of the games were blowouts. They just had all-time performances, so we let it go, right? They had an all-time Shohei performance, or an all-time Yamamoto performance, or the stuff that kind of led to these things that allowed you, or even like Savage, right? Like it was just game after game where somebody was doing something like standalone great. The Game 7 part was incredible. It was high drama. It was watching there. And this goes back to it's weird because a lot of times my initial takeaway from this is please don't take this away, baseball. Please do not ruin yourself by getting in a lockout in a year. Because somebody pointed out, the NBA and Major League Baseball both had Game 7s this year. Both were dramatic, dramatic, down to the wire, highly contested, super important games. Baseball drew 10 million more people to watch theirs. So they had, and look, some of that is because the market that baseball gets to employ. Because
you also had an entire country.
Understand.
Two. Yeah, Japan and Canada interested.
But 25 million to 16 million people tuned in. So 9 million more on that end. It matters. And it's just don't lose your momentum. But also, you and I said the same thing. I tried not to let it ruin the moment, that it's just two teams spending 3 of the 4 most money in baseball between every other top 10 payroll team. I tried not to make the game about that, because the game itself was interesting. So I was just appreciating the game after we can try to fix baseball. But from a baseball standpoint, it was excellent. It was baseball and high drama. Big-time plays, big-time hits, home runs that mattered. Yamamoto pitching 3 innings after going 90 pitches the night before in an absolute gem.
Absolutely insane. None of us have seen that in our lifetime. That part, none of us have seen that. No. That was insane. That's why he ended up being MVP. Look, we all thought Ohtani would get it. Since we had the show on Friday and mentioned Ohtani winning MVP, Yamamoto goes 96 pitches, and then the next 90 pitches again. Well, that ended the conversation at that moment. Once he was able to do that, it was sensational. A ton of fun watching that on Saturday night. And yeah, the Dodgers go back to back. They're going for a three-peat.
Ugh. Fine. Like you said before, win it so you can ruin the sport. Little update out of the NFL. Okay. Adam Schefter confirming, not that anybody didn't expect it. Test confirmed that Packers tight end Tucker Kraft did, in fact, tear his ACL. Will be out for the remainder of the season for the Packers.
A huge loss for Green Bay. Huge loss for them. Player. They're obviously coming off a bad loss yesterday to Carolina. But yeah, one of their best players on the team, certainly their best offensive weapon that they have outside of Josh Jacobs, I would say.
More serious injuries.
A bunch of them. Jaden Daniels last night, Sunday Night Football. Now, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, never should have been in the game still, that late in the game, but he dislocated his elbow. He's done for the year. Marshawn Lattimore tore his ACL. He's done for the year. So the Commanders just got absolutely destroyed on the field and the scoreboard, but also when it comes to the medicals as well. Just a mess of a day yesterday for Washington in particular. Their season's over.
Stock down later in the show. Packers could have easily been on that list. Tough loss to Carolina. Just lost their star tight end. And for whatever reason, Micah Parsons had his first ever game with 0 pressures against the Carolina Panthers offensive line, which feels like just weird timing.
People will be looking at that film to see did Carolina do anything in particular. That's for sure.
Would they triple team him?
Who knows? Something worked.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's stat line, guys, was not like here's
a
win's a win.
Stinks.
A win's a win, and you let him down into field position to kick the game-winning field goal. But Bryce Young yesterday, it's not like he was amazing, and that's how they upset the Green Bay Packers. It was an ugly football game. His final stat line was 18 of 35 for $154 and 2 interceptions and a touchdown.
I can't believe the Chiefs have the same record as the Panthers.
Well, it's reality. It is what it is.
I
It's reality of the
genuinely,
situation.
I genuinely
been that way
can't
the last
I know.
since there's a Twitter account that tweets the same thing out there where Tiger is the Chiefs and John Daly is the Panthers, and they're both staring at each other. That tweet is populated multiple times this year.
It stands. I mean, it's not unreasonable. Look, the NFC West is the best division in football, right? Even if we just forget that the Cardinals exist for a minute. The Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers are just like a murderer's row of teams. I guess everybody in the NFC North is competitive, but I still think the better teams are in the NFC West. We can talk more about the rest of the NFL, obviously, later in the show and later in the week. Them having the same record as the Panthers is like, yeah, something's wrong there, and you should do something about
They have the same record as the Jags, too. I mean, it is what it's just reality. We're going to talk about the reality of where the standings are. A 5-4 team. How worried are you about the division, making the playoffs, plus what Patrick Mahomes had to say about the schedule that's coming up? That's next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Last week, 16 new students started their Centric journey. Look, we've all had those kind of jobs. Maybe driving a delivery truck, military, handling packages, just stuff that's going to have to be outside come wintertime, all of those things. But instead, you could be training for a new cybersecurity career over at Centric.
Yeah, you can do it side by side, too. That's what's important to note, as we always mention with this program. If you're someone that's like, well, I can't just stop what I'm doing.
Great.
I can't cut off the income. No, you can do in-person classes, online classes as well. Continue your current career so you can build for your future. And as you listed off these different backgrounds, it doesn't matter what field you're in now. Your future is what matters, and cybersecurity is the future.
They train you to do it. They train you in as little as 4 months that way, and then help you land a job in that career. Centric can help it, make it yours. Go to Centric.com and book a call with our buddy, Russ Mondry.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
The NFL season is rolling along, and you're starting to get a better feel on who's a contender and who's a pretender, and you can make all your predictions over at FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who you think is going to win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And tonight, FanDuel is giving all customers 30% profit boost token. That's right. You can get in on the action for 30% profit boost on this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for every snap. So whether you want to bet who's going to win the game, who's going to score a touchdown, or who's going to score the first touchdown, you can do all that with our friends over at FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to bet on the game. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us, with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement. iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Another summer is ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time. Maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Heartland Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality health insurance and better health. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Go to amberhealth.com/enroll for your free, no-obligation quote. That's amberhealth.com/enroll. Amber Health, on a mission for better. Amber Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to amberhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Sarah at the Department of Rejected Dreams. If you had a dream rejected, IKEA can make it possible.
I've always dreamed of a beautiful kitchen, but my wife just wants to stay organized.
You know what they say about opposites?
That they can't agree on a kitchen?
Well, IKEA kitchens come in many styles with a variety of customizable organizers. So maybe you're not opposites at all.
Beautiful and organized. Now we just have to figure out what to eat.
That's a different department. Get the kitchen of your dreams at a price you didn't dream possible at IKEA.US/dreamkitchen. Dream the possibilities.
Fresco and Dusty, weekdays 6 to 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
$11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. Also, we'll take your calls during the Chiefs Red half hour. So if you've got something on your mind, I'm sure you do, about how things went down yesterday for the Chiefs, we'll get to your calls, 913-586-7965 at 11:30. Meanwhile, you can always text in. You can interact on the stream. Cody's got Twitch pulled up as well. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X. Make sure you subscribe there on YouTube so you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. All right, we continue to go through the trickle-down effect of yesterday's game. I want to key in on probably something I was texted the most about from some friends. I'm sure you guys in your group chats as well. And it wasn't just like the frustration that we already went through talking about the issues, but also like, hey, are they in trouble for the playoffs? Are they in trouble for the division? So let's talk it out here. The Chiefs, we all know they're 5-4. They currently would be out of the playoff field. They be the 8th seed. That loss to Jacksonville looms very large, knowing the tiebreaker is at that point for Kansas City in the AFC South. The latest odds, though, somehow, I'll be honest, like this is where people will roll their eyes, but to make the playoffs, the Chiefs are still minus 650, which is a massive favorite to do so. They are still divisional favorites at plus 120. They are co-favorites to win the AFC still at plus 290.
Sounds right.
And they are still favorites to win the Super Bowl at plus 550, despite being 5-4 and out of a playoff spot. This all will change drastically depending on what happens in Denver, though, after the bye week. We all agree. If the Chiefs lose in Denver, then all that I just mentioned goes away, and the division is done as far as I'm concerned.
Can't win the division without beating Denver twice now. Not even just once. You got to beat them the second return trip to Arrowhead as well.
How worried are you? Because for me, to make the playoffs, I'm still not panicking there. I'm really not. Because I remember a week ago how we were discussing this team and watching this team. I don't think just like that now the team stinks. Okay? Now the schedule is very difficult. Denver twice, Chargers still, Colts still on the schedule. I'm not all that concerned about the Texans and the Cowboys on the schedule. Maybe other people were.
It's 2 7-2 teams they're facing in the next 2 games.
The next 2 weeks is massive for them. So the division, it's simple. It comes down to the Broncos game. So I'm very worried about the division. There's a chance that this 9-year run in the AFC West is coming to a close. That is a real thought that I think we all should have. But the Broncos game out of the bye week will shift that one way or the other. If they win, then they're very much alive in the division race. But if they lose that game, it's over in the division, and the AFC West will not be coming through Kansas City.
So admittedly, some of this is the eye test part of it. And the good news is for the Chiefs as the division goes. Right now, the Chiefs are 1-1 in the division. The Colts are actually the team in the division that are still 3-0, played their 3 games and have like the tiebreaker advantage. But the last time they went without Joe Alt for a few games, they were awful on offense. And they just lost Joe Alt again, which means they have no starting left tackle, no starting right tackle. I think they're getting ready to struggle again. So I'm going to take the Chargers are not my current fear. I think if it were just Chiefs and Chargers for the rest of the way, I'd feel 85% confident they were winning the division. The Broncos have only played one divisional game. They're 0-1, so they do not have some massive tiebreaker in that. You have not played them yet. They are 2 games ahead of you, and you have 2 games against them. I think it is a 50-50 shot they lose the division. So worried, sure. Do I think that they are not or 51-49? I'd probably give them the edge just because they're the Chiefs and they're the Broncos. The thing I'm having a hard time struggling in here is Denver does not pass the eye test, but they pass the eye test with 15 minutes to go in regulation because to hell if they're not a fourth quarter team. They have come from behind in 3 different games in impressive fashion, including yesterday to beat to beat the Houston Texans to get the win in that one. They've got a 2-game advantage, as I previously pointed out, and they are undefeated at home at this stage in the season. So they're a threat. But I still think the Chiefs have as good of a shot as anybody to win the division.
Well, that's why
the fact they're 2 games back.
That's why they're still the favorites. But we all agree it comes down to this Broncos game post-bye week. And can the Chiefs go to Denver and get a win? If they do that, everybody takes a deep breath again and has a much different feeling. The Colts also look a little more human after 1 game. We'll see what they do to bounce back.
They also turned the ball over 6 times and still almost didn't lose. So I know it was it's kind of like the Chiefs-Bills game. They were still alive in the game despite turning the ball over 6 times.
That's a good comp. Right, I mean, the Chiefs. Mahomes played his worst game maybe of his career, and
they weren't dead in the game.
And the Chiefs still somehow still were with the ball down a possession twice in the second half, if I'm not mistaken. That's one way to put it. The reason why I'm not worried about the playoffs, here's why. One, I don't think the Chiefs just now stink after 1 week. The other part is, it really is just, do you think the Chiefs can play 1 game better than Jacksonville the rest of the way? And now, you may not like that conversation, like, wow, that's really where we're at now, but that is where they're at.
That keeps the playoff stuff alive.
I'm just talking about playoffs, because the Chiefs are 5-4. Below them, it's a 3-5 Texans and a 3-5 Ravens and a 3-6 Bengals, okay? I'm not worried about any of those teams. The Ravens will either win the division and get in as an AFC North, or the Steelers now have calm things down by beating the Colts, and they'll be the rep. I don't think the North is getting 2 teams in. So what I'm saying is the Chiefs are the 8th seed at 5-4. The Jags are the 7th seed at 5-3. They also have the tiebreaker. The Chargers are 6-3. So, and the Chiefs get the Chargers still. it really is whether or not if you're saying, wow, they're missing the playoff, that means you think Jacksonville is going to play better football the rest of the season than Kansas City, as in win more games the rest of the way than Kansas City. And I can't say that sentence out loud and actually actually not laugh a little bit. Honestly.
I am and this is maybe I'll come back to regret these words. 99.9% sure they'll make the playoffs. And the only 0.1%, maybe I'd say 95% at the risk of injury.
Yeah, the math says they have a 67% chance.
If you promise me, I think it's way higher than that.
I agree.
95, 97% chance. Look, the Jags do have the Titans still twice
remaining.
Easiest
schedule the Jags have.
They can lose to the Texans this week. Chargers the week after that. We'll see what the Chargers are. I just mentioned that I think that they do play worse. They still have Colts, Broncos, Jags 2 more times, I guess, on their Colts twice on their schedule. Mm-hmm. And then so it's Colts twice, Titans twice. Those are a wash, too difficult, too easy. But the thing about the Jags is they could lose to the Titans. They're not so good that they can't lose to the Titans. Look, I don't know what the Chiefs are exactly yet this season. They have mostly been losing to the teams that are good on their schedule. And I think tomorrow we'll talk about the score in one or their record in one score games again and get into the bigger picture of that. But the one thing I do know about the Chiefs still this season is they could still be bad teams. They got the Titans. I feel like that's a win still, I'm not going to lose my mind collectively. It's just the AFC's tough. Because the 4 best records are teams I'm not sure about.
So the Chiefs have 5 wins in if you were going through the schedule. 11 wins guarantees them at least a wild card, right? 10, it's not impossible. That's when you run into the tiebreaker with Jacksonville, and that's why that Jags win for them is so massive over Kansas City. But that's just where I'm at. Where the division is very real, and it's in jeopardy, and all that is very true to me. The playoffs, I can't get there. Being concerned yet. Hell, if the Chiefs lose to the Broncos, the playoffs are still very real even then. It's just you really are just worrying about Jacksonville and the Chargers when it comes to a playoff spot, and only one of them matter. I just don't think the Texans or the Ravens or the Bengals are sneaking up all of a sudden passing you for the final wild card spot.
If you lost your game to the Texans and lost all the games leading up to it, maybe, but
look, I know none of us want the Chiefs to be the 7th seed, and I'm only talking about making the dance. If they're the 7th seed and they go to New England or Buffalo or something, that's a hell of a wild card round.
So this is the thing about the playoffs that still get me. When you're saying they're the favorites still to come out of the AFC. The 4 teams in the top of the AFC, do any of them, genuinely, do any of them strike great fear into your heart? The Indianapolis Colts, the New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are the top 4 teams in the AFC. Do any of them be like, oh no, what will they ever do? Can they beat you? Sure. They've obviously proven that. There's a reason why they've started with the record that they had. And Pittsburgh, obviously, coming off their most impressive win of the season, taking down Indianapolis in a game which you and I both agree nobody really gave much of a shot at. And so those are the 4 best teams in the AFC right now? And I'm supposed to think the Chiefs aren't going to make the playoffs out of that? No, because the truth is, like you mentioned with Jacksonville, they can lose to anybody. And yeah, I've pretty much written off anybody 9 through 16. I don't think any of those teams are making the playoffs. We're halfway through the season. Baltimore's the only one I'd give a legitimate shot to.
But to me, if they bounce back,
then Pittsburgh's
they'll win the AFC North. So yeah, it's not great. We're talking about literally the final playoff spot. That's where the Chiefs are at right now as far as looking ahead. They're out of the playoff spot, but we're talking about getting just into the dance. That's the reality if the Chiefs have put themselves in. When you have 4 losses next to your name in the win-loss column, this is the reality. And I would still bet quite a bit that the Chiefs make the playoffs. The division, that's a different conversation.
What are the odds for them to miss the playoffs?
Well, they're 6-1 to make it. So
wow. Okay, so
it's not 6-1, -600. I'm sorry, -600 to make it.
I mean, that's a heavy favorite, to make the playoffs. And again, I think that those odds are right. I'm not worried about that. You can come in today and tell me that things are not going well and things are relatively bleak from a they're not beating
updated
good
win
teams
total
perspective.
Over under 10.5 wins. Over is -210. Under is +175. Over 11.5 wins +140. Under 11.5 -165.
I would be betting the over in that. And look,
over. You think they still get to 12?
No, the 10.5.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I was saying 11. I think this feels like 11. This feels like an 11 win season.
11-6. They also won the Super Bowl. I feel like the last time they went 11-6. So They still have Mahomes. They still have all the other stuff that comes with there. I'm hoping that this bye week refreshes them. But they are having a hard time beating good teams. No doubt. There's no doubt about that.
And they got 2 good ones coming up.
Yep. And at least look, again, I'll point out the Broncos get a mini bye. Like they play Thursday Night Football. So
they're playing the Raiders, yeah.
And the Raiders certainly looked better with Brock Bowers than without him. But Jacoby Myers might not even be on the team by the time they take on the Broncos. And I would think I like the Broncos fairly easily in that game. So I assume they'll be coming in 2.5, 3 full games ahead of you, waiting for you to come to town.
Yeah, this is what Patrick Mahomes had to say about the schedule ahead and where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just we got like I said, we got to learn from it, but it's kind of like you got to do it now. Like there's no easy game coming up, and there's no more chances that we can really take losses. So I mean, you got to learn from it fast, and we got to be better as a team. Offensively, we got to be better, especially on some of those big drives we had in the second half. And I think we'll just continue to push away and learn on this bye week, and then come back and be ready to play our best football coming off of it.
I mean, there isn't wiggle room. Not for the 1 seed, I think.
That's over. Yeah,
we didn't talk about that as a part of this, but
I think that just goes without saying.
I will not be entertaining the 1 seed conversation at all until you give me 4, 5, 6 weeks from here, and they're like a game back. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Cody.
So I just said, I'm not eliminating as it is a 100% chance. I think it's a 98% chance they do not get the 1 seed.
Yeah, I'll go to 100, but I'm with you. Yeah, I'll go. The number 1 seed is over. We're dreaming.
They're
at
only
that point.
2 games back of it, and they face one of the 2 teams who are ahead of them.
I understand. They're not.
That's why I said 98% chance they don't get it.
Yeah.
I'd like to reserve that 2%.
Patriots have the easiest schedule remaining in football. The Bills have the 3rd or 4th easiest schedule remaining in football.
I definitely think it's going to be one
You know
of
what I
those two
mean?
teams.
That's all. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 6 minutes or so. Before we get to the Chiefs right half hour as well, let's talk about one of the star quarterbacks in this league, a guy that set records last year as a rookie, done for the season, Jaden Daniels. One of the key injuries yesterday, Sunday Night Football. Now, it was a blowout, so I don't know how many people saw it live. But Jaden Daniels dislocated his elbow, and immediately it's one of those where you're like, all right, don't need to see the replay again. Thank you very much, Sunday Night Football, NBC. Don't need to see that replay. He was still in the game, though, down 38-7 with about 7 minutes to go.
So the game was over. Oh, and he just came back from injury, right?
He did, and that was like the reasoning some people were trying to give us. Like, well, he just needs to get back into flow. Look, I don't care what the player wants in that spot. If you're Dan Quinn, that's coach malpractice. You cannot have a guy that's dealt with injuries this year, has struggled to stay healthy. You cannot have him in the game in that spot. This wasn't 38-7 in like a early third quarter, like, well, I'm not benching my guy for the whole second half. There was 7 minutes left in the game. And his style of play and why he's so effective is he's going to take off and run.
It was a read option play. They were still calling essentially designed run plays for him at that stage.
That's just inexcusable. I would be livid if I were a Washington fan. Now, I will say in a roundabout way, this could be from a win-loss draft pick perspective. They were about to lose, to me next week as well anyway.
Yeah,
and get to 3-7, and they're not making the playoffs. That was before the Jaden Daniels injury. So instead of being 15th overall pick, and now they have a chance for a top 10 pick, although, if Marcus doesn't win some games. So in a weird way, for the oldest roster in football, too.
Yep.
They're in trouble all of a sudden in Washington.
They don't have a good offensive line. They don't have a good defensive line. They don't have good wide receivers. And look, the biggest fear I would have if I were Washington is, am I reliving... and this would be, and it's way too premature to say this, but you know what thought would creep in my head if I were a Commanders fan? Am I reliving the RG3?
Well, that was the conversation going to the Chiefs game they were having in D.C.
Right?
His mom was tweeting and trying to calm people down and say, don't you dare compare my son to RG3. Now
look, I don't know what to tell you.
This was a dislocated elbow.
RG3 was the best rookie quarterback in the NFL his rookie season. Looked like the man was a force to be reckoned with. Got hurt a little in his second year. Never got healthy again, and never played again.
No.
We had asked 2 weeks ago, and I still think it's a fun conversation, which is if you chose right now which order you would draft the 2024 NFL quarterbacks, way more people now would be answering Drake May.
Of course, he's an MVP.
Than even 2 weeks ago.
He's a legit MVP candidate, and he's healthy. So some of that is recency bias, but I get it. I get the injury concern. I only will say the dislocated elbow, as nasty as it is, non-throwing elbow. This isn't a continued hamstring knee injury every single week that he had the knee sprain before. So this injury is not going to alter his career in terms of performance.
Yes.
In that regard.
It's not
right?
a leg injury.
Like, it alters him being available, sure, duh. He's not going to play this year. But next year, he's not going to play worse because of the dislocated elbow.
And to your point of having the oldest roster in the NFL and having major roster deficiencies, picking 7th, man. You can revamp. Like, I watched Philadelphia do this, and I don't think we ever talk about it as much for, like, Howie Roseman, like, best GM in the sport. He twice picked in the top 10. And no, look, some of those were because of trades he made, so I guess in fairness, he deserves the credit there. But, like, when you just have a down year and you're a good team, like when you draft Joe Burrow, but then you pick in the top 5 and you get to take Jamar Chase, there is part of, like, the supercharged roster building part that if you get the superior talented guy right, it's kind of nice for the following year. It doesn't solve all your problems. You don't get to just erase your memory and do it. But picking in the top 10 can come with a massive advantage if the season was already lost anyway. And their season was already lost. Before he even got hurt in that game, they were getting boat raced by Sam Darnold, who didn't so much as miss by an eyelash the
Sam
entire
Darnold's
game.
playing some MVP type football
and
as well.
Their season already looked over before the guy got hurt.
The Commanders have the Lions next week. So they were already in this stretch. They had lost to the Bears, to the Cowboys, the Chiefs going into last night's game. So in a weird way, that part could be a blessing in disguise, only that they're not going to even mess around and win 7 games.
That makes you feel better about this year, but now you should be Team Tank.
What does it do for Cliff? Cliff Kingsbury's the OC, was being talked about a legitimate head coaching candidate in the offseason. This offense for the last 3 or 4 weeks hasn't done anything.
Jaden Daniels on the season, his stats when he plays are still fine. Yeah. And that game excluded, I guess.
Running game is gone for them.
Running game is gone, but also it feels interesting the way, and I think part of that is because they haven't had a starting quarterback for a huge chunk of it. And how you're supposed to have a running game in a game in which you were trailing by 28 before the half was even over. So,
All right, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
This one's local, guys. This one, I don't know if you saw this story. This came out of Kansas City last week. KCI Airport. MCI, KCI. Before someone texts in.
KCI is what they call it. It's technically MCI by airport code.
That's right. That's why. Yep.
I did do a story on that once when I worked at KCPT.
Yeah, your baggage will say MCI, but whatever.
When they were talking about building new airports, I did a little. That's why they call it MCI. If you headed to KCI, you'd be heading to Indonesia.
Mid-continental airport or whatever, yeah.
You'd be heading to Indonesia.
Well, that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
On the flight path.
No idea why I remember that.
Anyway, a man was arrested at Kansas City Airport, as the article calls it, on his way to, quote, kill the Illuminati. A man was charged with making a terroristic threat last week after telling passengers he was going to kill the Illuminati. This gentleman was arrested October 24th at a Delta Airlines gate after several passengers reported his threatening comments, including asking people if they knew what was in his checked bag. Delta Airlines operations of the gate temporarily shut down while police K-9 units checked his luggage. It was cleared, found safe. He told police he believed the Illuminati was following him from his hotel near the airport. He denied making the statements, but understood how such comments could cause panic. He was charged with second-degree terrorist threat and placed on Delta's no-fly list.
Interesting. So,
what would you do if you're waiting at the gate and someone all of a sudden started shouting that? Like, would you, like, obviously you would be nervous in the moment. Would you want to get on the, like, even though they cleared that, would you want to even fly at that? Would you be like, I'm done flying for the day?
If they ever start saying that, I don't think. Now, in fairness, if I'm flying by myself, I put headphones on pretty quick.
You wouldn't have heard the whole thing.
I wouldn't have heard any of it and be like, well, that guy's just
Cody would have turned around and there would have been 5 people being tackled and like, oh, what happened? What happened here?
Yeah, probably.
Drew, what would you have done in the moment? Would you have tried to tackle this guy yourself or what?
Not doing that.
No. This wasn't on the plane, correct?
No.
At the terminal.
At the gate. At the gate, you're sitting waiting to board.
I probably would have just been an observer. Like I would have just normally I don't have my headphones on until I get on the plane. But I probably would have been. I guess I would have just been watching on. I guess.
Obviously, crazy is the answer, but like I just assume even if the Illuminati is real, let's just accept that on its premise for just a minute.
Okay.
They're not gonna be wasting their time with me. This guy. Like they got bigger fish to fry. They're a large scale organization, They're at the highest levels of government. Hypothetical, it can't be. They're not wasting their time with me.
I don't know.
Huh? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
Just in terms of the story in the NBA recently, like just we have a connection between Chauncey Billups and the Mafia. Like, I don't know if anybody is... If anything, you might be a subject that they might take a random Joe instead of somebody else who's more popular. I don't know.
So now you're saying...
I don't think anybody's
Court documents said that he stated to KCI police officers that he thinks the Illuminati should be dead. He will kill them all. Officers also saw him make a finger gun gesture pointing it towards several nearby passengers.
Come on, man.
For him to also say, do you know what's in my bag? Like, he's asking people if they know what's in his bag. Like, yeah, you're really not coming off as suspicious.
Court documents, detectives said he had been staying at the Hilton Hotel near the airport when he first encountered the Illuminati. He stated they were following him, prompting him to leave the Hilton and take a shuttle to the airport. He also stated while waiting for his flight, laid on the floor, began speaking with a pastor, telling him he was being followed by the Illuminati. He later went to his boarding gate. Yeah.
Does anybody else do this? So, like, if I'm at a Target or a grocery store or whatever, like, wherever I'm at, if I, like, go down the same aisle 2-3 times in a row because we just happen to be shopping in the same area, I will go out of my way to go somewhere else for a little bit.
If I see you again?
Yeah. Can't be, because I'm like, they're going to think I'm following them. I can't be having this nonsense. I got to go somewhere else in the store for a little bit. I got to go to a different aisle. I got to backtrack. I can't be following you around. This feels crazy.
So admittedly, absolutely that's happened before, and I've had that same thought. It's very rare, but totally. I know what you're thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of like, I got to move around. It's like, they're going to think, I don't even like following, like, that close, like behind people's, like they're leaving the store. I'm like, I don't want them thinking, now we're parked in the same aisle. I'll sometimes shift to the left side or the right side. I move around a lot. I don't want people thinking I'm being weird.
Yeah, if you're by yourself and depending on the exact circumstance, like if you're leaving and you're heading, your car is parked right next to, let's in this case say it's a woman or whatever, and you're like, I don't want her to think that I'm following her to a car. I totally get that. Yeah.
You can't just shout, I'm not following you. That would only sound worse. I just like the 3 aisles in a row. It's like I will go shop for something else or backtrack. Even if it's not where I need to go. I'll go to the wrong aisle to try to delay it.
I think somebody was confused about the trash of the day. They said, so the guy didn't commit a crime. He was still arrested. Sounds like he wasn't lying. You can't make terroristic threats at an airport. That would be a crime if, in fact, he did that. There is no, he didn't commit a crime. You can't, thank goodness he didn't hurt anybody. If you're saying he needed to do that for it to be a crime, then you are correct. But no, he was threatening and making finger gun gestures, according to detectives. Yeah.
Can't you just like the truth is,
don't do it.
Yeah, especially at airports, they take that stuff pretty serious. Monday's football coverage is presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on success at Busey Bank. They've been building business and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at BuseyBank.com. All
right, let's get back into the Chiefs in the red half hour. We'll take your calls. We'll open up the phone line. Your perspective on the loss yesterday. How realistic do you think this divisional race is? 913-586-7965. We'll do that and talk about the worst game we've seen from Mahomes.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The Chiefs have been scoring a ton of points lately, and that means I'm saving a ton of money at Hy-Vee. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs, because I score big fuel savings when I shop Hy-Vee the day after any Chiefs game. Win or lose, I'll earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents a gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. So the more we score, the more I save, only for my friends at Hy-Vee.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for Hy-Vee's Holiday Baking Sale. Make your list and check it twice. Time to stock up on the sweetest deals of the year, like Hy-Vee sugar, $1.99, brown sugar, $1.48, Hy-Vee butter, $2.49, peanut butter, $1.88, and don't forget the Hy-Vee pumpkin pie filling, just 88 cents. Jump in your sleigh and dash away this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. On November 17th, sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses, plus an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day, with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM reward points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. Pre-registration is coming soon to Missouri on November 17th. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sports wagering account 1117. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game, and tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. Gold got to hear my cheesy news guy voice in the commercial break on that story of MCI history.
I think you should give it to everybody.
I did for KCPT. I said, head to that airport code, and you'll be heading to Kono, Indonesia. For KCPT, I'm Cody Tapp. It was like light and airy, Drew. Very friendly tone.
So peppy.
It was very peppy.
It wasn't like the deep voice, very, very monotone sort of.
Not as Smokey the Bear voice.
No. It was a light story about the future of the Kansas City airport 10 years ago that was done on an evening special at KCPT that Nick Haynes hosted. And I had to do 2 or 3 packages essentially for it, and that was one of them. On why the airport codes are what they are.
I feel like if you're gonna shout out to our guy Sam Stevie, it feels like if you're gonna do a news report, Sam, you're gonna imitate somebody. Sam Stevie is the guy that you should.
So I was working out there, grinding out there in the middle area.
Oh, yeah.
Although we got beef with Dana Wright, this show very rarely does an egregiously bad decision out in this main area. We share a bullpen area with KMBZ. Dana Wright, obviously the afternoon host, one of the 2 afternoon hosts at KMBZ. Walk in this morning after a weekend. What is still on Dana Wright's desk?
I don't know if she left it there or someone put it on her desk, but it's there. It is 5 or so pieces of broccoli, like broccoli florets or whatever you call them, just sitting on a plate on her desk from the entire. It's been there all weekend, I'm guessing.
Is it my responsibility to throw it away?
No, of course not.
I don't feel like I should have to throw away somebody else's gross food.
So it's still there?
Oh, yeah, you can go have some if you want. It's right over there. Yep.
How much would someone have to pay to take a bite?
No, whoa. I'm not taking
broccoli.
What's the price? That's all I'm asking. What's the price?
For right now?
Yeah, what would you eat 1 floret for?
If
you know it's probably Friday. Couple days.
If you could you get sick off of that?
Maybe, but it seems like
$100. Venmo me $100. I'll do it right now. Venmo me $100. I'll eat it. Get an extra cash.
That was about the number.
I could use some more cash heading on trip. Sure.
That's a great call.
Venmo me $100 right now, and I'll eat them. Yep.
Interesting.
Eat them.
Yeah, I'll eat all 4 for $100.
All 4 for $100
right now.
Plate.
25 a piece?
Yep.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to think about that. That's pretty tempting.
I'll just get a fork and all 4 at once. And
that's pretty tempting. Let me consider it. Okay. I mean, genuinely, let me consider that. Let's talk some Chiefs.
All right.
Obviously coming off their worst season. Gold, you and I both had a similar thought, I think, after the game. And rather than, and we'll talk about some of the other things that went wrong, because that very well might have been the worst game of Patrick Mahomes' career. Genuinely might have been. And this is not what happened? How did the game go so bad? They got worked on the offensive line and the defensive line. No pass rush, no pressure. Josh Allen sat back and picked him apart all day long. They tackled well still, by the way. James Cook got him a couple of times. He's one of the better backs in the league, okay. They could not protect Patrick Mahomes. He got pressured on nearly 53% of the snaps in that game. He got driven into the ground at least 3 times by my count. I think it might have been 4, where he got pile drived by a Bills player. They got beat up in the wide receiver stuff. Cole Bishop apparently is a superstar. Who the hell knows? He was like Troy Polamalu in his prime in that game. They got beat up on the line, though. Offensive line got beat up by the Bills' defensive line and vice versa. And I think that's really what that game boils down to.
It can be that simple at times. The offensive line, you got dominated. And the offensive line in particular had their worst performance with the 2 tackles. Jalen Moore struggled. Jawan Taylor had his worst game in a month. We just got done praising him last week, saying, man, he's got a month without the penalties, without having a poor performance. He wasn't any good. Now, again, I'll give credit to Joey Bosa and the Bills. They were really effective in their own right, but the Chiefs didn't have their A game, to say the least, on their offensive line. And the defensive line, it was much of the same problem that we've noticed, but they've been able to mask, and that is that they get 0 pass rush. They get 0 pass rush. Chris Jones, to me, at this point of his career, is not able to take over a football game. And yeah, he's double teamed a lot. Sure, I'm sure he's extremely frustrated. I think because they don't have a ton of depth there, he's asked to play a lot. And you can say, well, he should. He's paid X amount of money. Yeah, but at his age, if you want him to be as effective as he is in the past, he can't play as many snaps as he used to, clearly. And they don't have anybody else to rotate in right now. And so we could talk trade deadline if you guys want. Phone lines are open, 913-586-7965. I don't know if they can really trade for someone that is going to have a huge impact, but they just need some depth to rotate guys in. And Jalen Phillips was a name I know people had brought up. We can get to him if you want. I think for the Chiefs right now, Look, Patrick Mahomes is not going to play that way again the rest of the season. Right? He played 142 NFL games, and that was the first time he completed less than 50% of his passes. It was a perfect storm of the Bills' defense played their best game of the season, O-line worse, pass rush got exposed by the second-best quarterback in football. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy were not on it from a play-calling perspective in game plan the way they had been. And the Bills got him. The Bills flat out got him.
Yep.
And a game for them that was also kind of in that must-win type of territory. So because they've got a Patriots team that is front-running their division on top of it. But this game is the game that is going to have the biggest impact in the division and the AFC standings and all that. I was more mad after the Jags game, though, because that game the Chiefs had no business losing. The Chiefs had no business winning after the first quarter and a half yesterday.
Nope, they were pretty much outplayed immediately at halftime. Didn't feel like a game they were supposed to be in. Were eventually in, certainly. But they were outclassed. Mahomes kept them alive. The deep ball kept them alive because they kept getting at least a few big plays, even though it was the smallest number of completions that Patrick Mahomes had ever completed in a game in his NFL career. They were still able to battle it. I still don't think the Bills have definitively more talent. But man, the Chiefs played bad in that game. And it all started like Patrick Mahomes plays bad when he's not protected. He's not alone. He's not the first quarterback in the history of humankind for that to be an issue for. But like when their offensive line goes bad, man, it goes bad. Jawan Taylor's worst game, maybe as a Chief. Certainly this year he got
in week one against the Chargers, he had 4 penalties.
I know, but like in a way, this one was worse because it was more detrimental. Because every half second, Patrick Mahomes was under duress. That's fair. Maybe equally bad, but certainly bad. And then obviously they were on Jalen Moore as a backup, and he struggled. And I would say that, I didn't notice Creed or Trey, so maybe they were fine. But the tackles, it doesn't matter. You can have the best interior line in the NFL if you don't have your tackles. And look, I've seen people hypothesize that maybe Simmons is getting close to coming back. And this will certainly change the will he start right away part of the conversation if they feel like they need that kind of leniency. But this is why we brought up the Simmons thing from the beginning. Not because we needed to know the personal thing he was dealing with, but that eventually there was going to be a game where the offensive line got their ass kicked. And then you were going to ask, hey, man, what happened to that guy who used to start at left tackle for the Chiefs? And that's why we were asking the question at the time, when is Josh Simmons coming back? Not what is Josh Simmons gone for? And I think we now are at that point, obviously, where offensive line struggles and now people want to know.
We'll get to the phones in just a second. We've got Donald on hold. We'll get there in momentarily. This text, this is where I don't agree. I know we don't have to panic on the Josh Allen beat Patrick Mahomes in the regular season thing. I understand the history there.
Yeah.
All right. And Josh Allen's won 4 in a row. We know Mahomes has won in the playoffs when it's mattered more. But I don't agree with this text where someone says, hey, it's the same old song and dance. Allen wins in the regular season. Patrick takes him out when it counts. Nothing to see here. This game had way more on the line, though. I hear you that I do not now think it means that Josh Allen is going to 100% beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs if they face each other. I don't think that either. And yeah,
it is a game they've lost a lot.
It is a game they have lost a lot. However, as we said going in, because of the 3 losses at the time already in the loss column, now 4, because of the Broncos winning, now a 7-win team, you had more consequences to losing this game than ever before. That's all. If the Chiefs make the playoffs and play the Bills, I don't think anybody in Buffalo is going to feel amazing about that matchup, all right? But to act like this is just the same as the other regular season ones, it's not, just because of the standings and the reality of where you sit. 913-586-7965. Donald, you're on with Cody and Gold.
Hey, guys, one of the things I can't understand for the life of me, we have the best quarterback on the planet, the best quarterback in history when on the move. When he's rolling, when he's outside the pocket, when he's got a clean shot and there are things happening downfield, there is nobody better. And why Andy Reid continues to put him back in that pocket, especially with a suspect offensive line, and get him teed off on, is just beyond me. I think the whole game was lost yesterday by poor play calling. What do you think of that?
Hey, thanks for the call, Donald. Look, there's
you and I both said we didn't like Andy Reid's day.
I think it was one of the worst game plan, play calling days that Andy Reid and Matt Nagy have had in 2025. You're correct on Patrick Mahomes when you get him out in space a little bit to run. That's when he's most dangerous. I think two things are true there. Like, one, we've questioned the halftime decision. And certainly some of the thought process of, once again, not going under center and all that. I have more issue with that kind of stuff than I think the reason why Mahomes, they weren't able to just bootleg him out is because neither tackle, you couldn't drift to either tackle because it was going to be an automatic sack or you're going to be under duress immediately. And so I think that part of it, I don't put as much on Andy Reid as the tackles did not play. The actual individual situational play calling and game plan is where I would agree with you, Donald. I don't know if get Mahomes out and running was really an option yesterday because the tackles were losing immediately.
And look, Denver's defensive line's coming to town, or they're going to their town in a couple of weeks. It's not like things get easier there, but they could, look, Trey Smith had a limited week at practice. They missed for a couple of days, I think Jalen Moore, or maybe it was Jawan Taylor who was sick, right? So they missed a couple of days there. So, some stuff happened, and they had and teams and units can have bad days too. I hated Andy Reid's day. I thought the under center stuff, I thought they got away from the run. They got panicked in the play calling way too soon and seemed desperate way earlier in that game than made any sense to me. And look, we all know, I'm hoping sometime before the end of this damn show, they trade for a defensive lineman. I think I'd kind of like Malik Collins, but there's a number of guys I could be talked into this. You know that Charles Omenihu only played 35% of the snaps yesterday? You know why? Because Leo Chenal played a bunch on the line because
they needed the athleticism
bingo.
To protect if Josh Allen was going to take off and run. And the runs to the outside where James Cook had success, first 100-yard rusher the Chiefs have given up all year.
First time they've given up 20 games, right?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Going back to, Zamir White of the Raiders a year ago. The Bills, it's weird. Someone was asking about blitzing. The Bills weren't blitzing. They just were getting pressure. So the Bills pressured Mahomes on 52.5% of his dropbacks. That was 14% higher than their pressure rate in any of the other 9 games against the Chiefs since 2020. So that was a difference. Mahomes, by the way, 3 of 16 for 61 yards and a pick when he was pressured. Let's not confuse pressure and blitz, though. This was not the blitz deciding, or the Bills deciding they're going to blitz all day. They didn't have to. They were winning consistently against Jalen Moore, against Jawan Taylor, at times even against the interior. Not as much there. Most of the time the blitz came from the edges. But I guess what I'm saying is this was not like the Bills' game plan was to blitz Mahomes. No, the Bills, the fact that they were able to get pressure without blitzing is why seemingly there was no opportunities for Patrick Mahomes throughout the game. And he, as you said earlier, started trying to play a little hero ball. And that's when things are always breaking down for Kansas City. And they never usually result in an impressive performance or a win when that has to happen. 913-586-7965. You guys can keep texting in. We'll also continue to take some of your calls. We'll get to those in just a bit. Curious to get your thoughts on the game.
This is where you and I tend to be, I don't know, and maybe this year's different. We'd had that season. We'd had that conversation early in the year. That maybe I shouldn't be treating it like any other Chiefs year, and this team's not quite the same. And I don't think they're quite the same, but I don't think it's as far as it is. I've seen 3 different texts today asking why Jalen Royals can't get more time or Tyquan Thornton can't get more time. That was the least bit of problem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's far from it. And look, here's part of it. Part of what we don't want to admit, based on what happened here, is so yesterday, one, I didn't realize they were calling it the hunt bunt for the short yardage.
That's the thing. Mahomes said to Jim Nantz.
Yeah, tough.
Hunt bunt.
Obviously, tough day for the hunt bunt, as they were not particularly good in short yardage in this particular game. A big part of their problem going into it was Brett Veach whiffed on running back. The available free agents. They started Clyde Edwards-Helaire and gave the man a carry or multiple carries in a game he had no business getting a carry, in my opinion. They should have given more to Brashard Smith or more to Kareem Hunt. They gave Kareem Hunt actual playing time in an offseason in which Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins were all available for the same amount of money.
I'll throw in Nick Chubb in that group.
Nick Chubb, that they all were available for the same amount of money. They gave Elijah Mitchell a contract, and they won't even put him on the field. So, part of this offseason is they gave Christian Fulton money, and he's inactive. And they gave Elijah Mitchell money, and he's inactive. And they're on the 53-man roster, and Josh Simmons hasn't been on the roster. They've been playing with a 50-man roster the last couple of weeks, and certainly a 51 all-year Gold, as you had pointed out, I think, last week. They whiffed on 2 of their offseason signings, and that's not a great start. Maybe there's still maybe Fulton can still contribute in some way, but I think we're past it on Elijah Moore.
The thing with
Elijah Mitchell.
So, the day they re-signed Kareem Hunt, we were wondering how it would impact the draft. and I think we've all acknowledged at this point in time, we would have liked them to approach the backfield differently. That, to me, wasn't the issue yesterday, though. You know what I mean? Like, they by the way, Kareem Hunt, we can talk about right before halftime, go under center instead of out of shotgun. And prior to yesterday, Kareem Hunt
in the early part of the game,
Kareem Hunt was more effective in short yardage heading into yesterday than even tush push. I don't know what it says now, probably not the same. But the point is, it was. So as much as I agree with you, in general, I would have liked them to have spent a higher draft pick or bring in a different body. Elijah Mitchell can't even be active and all that. It is crazy. I'm with you. I don't think that's why yesterday went the way it did.
Sure.
But yes, you
3 of the 4 guys I mentioned are top 5 running backs.
A lot of guys
rushing
aren't
yards in the
playing.
NFL.
A lot of these guys are not playing for you, though.
Yeah.
You know, Christian Fulton, Josh Simmons, we all know it's the personal issue. And, clearly they need him back. I understand he's dealing with some things, but, I think you're going to see more and more people, even those that didn't want people to worry about it, more than ever, people say, hey, okay, really, what is kind of going on here in terms of timeline? Because it's a problem for them, especially when you have an injury that happens. All of a sudden, Wanya Morris is playing right tackle for you.
Yeah, which was the thing they were trying to avoid for a huge chunk of last season when they eventually took Wanya Morris out and went to Joe Tooney instead.
913-586-7965. Chiefs Red Half Hour. We are taking some calls today, given the magnitude of yesterday's game. Caleb from Parkville joins us here on the show.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Appreciate y'all taking my call, man. I just had this quick saying, man, I'm a Patriots fan. And, I've been a Patriots fan since Ty Law. He's the reason why I became a Patriots fan. And then, I got to meet Bledsoe when I was a kid as well. I think a lot of the things that people kind of look at that I hear on the call line or the text line or anything like that is that they forget that, one, the Patriots went so long without a championship. And we still had a good team, but we went all those years. Right now, it's kind of looking like the Chiefs are kind of going through that slump. Now, Mahomes is young and still in his prime, but just because they don't make it, and we all know, of course, you guys always say it, that, the Chiefs always dominate November, December, all that, and let's just see. And of course, this is their best team, in a sense, that he's ever had. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like that they're in a slump. If they don't make the playoffs or make anything like that, I kind of feel like that people need to relax. It's still Mahomes. They still have the weapons. They will overcome, but I think people kind of forget about that and try to nag on little things like that they want to nag for and nag on. And it makes no sense for you to do that. I think they need to calm down. If you guys don't make it, then you guys don't make it. But I'm sure that they will next year. That's just what it is. So, I don't know if I'm just overdoing it, but at the end of the day, I kind of feel like that Chiefs fans and all that need to kind of calm down a little bit. It's not over. The reign with Mahomes is not over. Just chill.
Caleb, appreciate the call.
But I appreciate y'all making my call.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 straight Super Bowls. I'm not losing my mind.
913-586-7965. I understand what Caleb was saying, bigger picture about, if blank doesn't happen this year, don't act like they can't get back there. Here's the only thing I'll say, Caleb, and you're not wrong on the bigger picture. I think we're way too early to even have that conversation. It's heading into week 10 of a bye week. So that conversation happens if, A, they miss the playoffs, if they lose in the wild card weekend, don't get to their first AFC title game. I don't think anybody, I won't say anybody, there's always somebody out there.
Playoffs will still determine.
Most people in Kansas City, I'll say most, because I can never say everybody. There's always somebody out there. Most people in Kansas City, I still believe this team is making the playoffs, okay?
Yeah.
Most. Now, the division is a different conversation. I think that is way more split. And I think there might be people lean more and more that they're not winning the division. And I am very close to thinking that the division is not going to happen this year as well. But I got to see them play the Broncos first. They haven't even played the Broncos yet this year. They got 2 games against Denver. So I can't eliminate them from that yet. But bigger picture, yes, there was a lull in the Patriots' 2 dynasties. In between, the reason why it's 2 dynasties, not 1, there was a lull. But I just think that conversation is way too early. A week ago, the Chiefs were the best team in football and they could do no wrong. And now we're acting as if that it's all over. That's not true either. The Chiefs, by the way, are still the Super Bowl favorites.
That's crazy.
I know.
Is that crazy in the sense that I just told you the top of the AFC. That's part of what's happening in that conversation. But also, it tells you where people still think of this team. They played a bad football game, and this is what stands out. They were at least still in a game to me. Like if I'm glass half filling it.
Sure.
One, they lose this game every year. They lose to the Bills in the regular season. They've gotten their ass kicked against the Bills in the regular season. They're still 4-0 in the playoffs against Josh Allen. So if the Bills lose again, they'll be besides themselves if they won another regular season game, only to lose to Kansas City in the postseason once again. But also that they legitimately, the Bills played their B-plus game, I would say, for all 4 quarters. Maybe A-plus game in the first half. But B-plus game in the 4 quarters of the game, and the Chiefs played a D-level game. And Patrick Mahomes still had a chance to throw it towards the end zone at the end of the game to give themselves a chance to win. They weren't or at least a tie. Maybe they didn't win the game. They lost, certainly. But to play that bad of a football game, for Patrick Mahomes to be under pressure 50% of the time, to turn the ball over, to not be able to stop James Cook, to let Josh Allen complete 89% or whatever the hell it was of his passes, and to not be out of it, speaks to me that there's still talent on this roster that can come together. I don't deny any of those possibilities. But yeah, the division's going to be way harder. It's 50-50, and we'll talk more about it later in the show.
Yeah, and I know that the day after a loss like that, nobody wants to sit here and tell you that that it basically that this team is still good. Like you're expected to say they suck. Now all of a sudden they don't. Okay,
no.
Like there's a balance of they got their butts kicked. They got an area exposed again that we knew was an issue, pass rush. Offensive line we thought had finally settled in, and at least one day at the office, their 2 tackles were a big problem again. We thought we were past that. We're not, clearly. That stuff can be true, while also not forgetting just a week ago, this team, everybody was saying you were crazy for not thinking that they're going to go win the AFC. So, that's where I will pump the brakes. But admittedly, it's going to be a long week and a half or so. Getting set for a massive, I will say almost, is it fair to say, because of the division aspect, like season-defining type of game against the Broncos coming up. You lose that game, not only are you losers of 2 in a row,
you're 5
you're 500.
Playoffs become
division
a big
is done, and playoffs start to become more. Yeah, so it's a season-defining type of game coming up in, 10 or 14 days.
You get 2 full weeks to prepare for the Denver Broncos, who we'll get to see on a standalone game. According to this, Jordan Schultz now reporting.
We'll talk about it on the other side.
Chiefs. Oh yeah, Chiefs. We'll talk about it on the other side. But he's reporting Chiefs rookie left tackle Josh Simmons has returned to the team facility after missing the last 4 games to tend to a personal family matter. Obviously, and then pointing out the rest of the stats. So, according to Jordan Schultz, Chiefs rookie left tackle Josh Simmons has returned to the team facility. We'll talk about that more on the other side.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, because there were earlier this morning people were noticing he reactivated his Instagram account as well, and I guess he's back now. We won't get to hear from Andy Reid this week because they're on a bye week. So he's back at the facility. Awesome news. Does that mean he's playing in Denver? Does that mean he gets his job back right away? Yesterday probably doesn't hurt that, but we'll discuss that a little bit more. We'll get to what's trending right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
If you're a man waking up in the middle of the night dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. This is Jeff Montgomery. Do what I did. Contact Dr. Brown at Miva Medical, the leader in minimally invasive treatments in Kansas City. Go to miva-medical.com.
Hi there, I'm Charlie. And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC. If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help. Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting. Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team. He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days. He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises. Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision. Want to talk to him? Call 816-3 330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
FanDuel is putting you in control right from NBA tip-off because every day to start the season, you get to choose your reward. Take your shot with the Profit Boost token. You can play it cool with the no-sweat bet, or you can get a little backup with the Bet Back token. So what I like to do is I like to pick 3 players that I think are going to score at least 20 points. It gives you something to cheer for. It gives you something to root for. So you can put a little bit of extra sauce on it with the Profit Boot token, or you can just play it easy. You can play it relaxed with that no sweat bet. Whatever your pick is, whatever your strategy is, get into the game and play it your way. Head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ to make it your choice. FanDuel is an official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Now, when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide. Is both. Nationwide. Is both. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Macy's Veterans Day sale is one of your best chances to save big on furniture and mattresses. That's because you'll find great deals on our best sellers, like our exclusive Radley 5-piece sectional, delivered to any room in your home with white glove delivery for $25.98, and so many top brand mattresses at 20 to 60% off, plus an extra 20% off closeouts. So come in, try it all out, and get an incredible deal today at Macy's Veterans Day sale. Savings off select styles. Exclusions apply.
Target's early Black Friday deals are almost here, and they're bigger than ever. Take 40% off select gifts and holiday decor for 3 days only, starting this Thursday. Score can't-miss deals on new fits for the whole fam, festive lights and decorations to brighten your home, and even top toys like select Lego sets for endless holiday fun. Shop in-store or online, but don't miss out. These deals are going fast. 40% off gifts and holiday decor starts Thursday, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Dusty Likens, and in case you didn't already know, I'm here to tell you that you can watch all the shows here on 96.5 The Fan across all our social media channels. That's right. If you want to see our smiling faces as we talk about the best sports fans and teams in the country, subscribe to our YouTube channel or watch on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. Wake up with us, eat lunch with us, and go home with us. Your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on What's Trending. Just a few minutes ago, Jordan Schultz reporting Chiefs left tackle Josh Simmons has returned to the team facility after missing the past 4 games due to a personal/family matter. They're on a bye week, as we know, which means Andy Reid normally would speak on a Monday. Right now, he does not until next week. So we don't know what this means in terms of his availability for Chiefs Broncos. Obviously, a great sign, no kidding, that he's back in the facility, back with the team. Hopefully he can get going again, but we don't know what his availability is and all that. We're going to have to wait till next week. Now, maybe Nate Taylor tomorrow when he joins us, we'll have some more insight, but huge news, though, that Josh Simmons is back with the team.
Very important that they evaluate what kind of game shape he's in. Very serious question, and a great one that maybe we can ask Nate Taylor. I'm pretty sure it's against NFLPA rules for him to work with the coaching staff at all. I don't think he can voluntarily
He can still be at
choose.
the facility, though.
Yeah, but I don't think he's allowed to work with the coaching staff during the bye week. I think they shut that down to prevent people from being guilted in to working during a bye week. So very curious to see
But he
how
can
that
still
goes.
go in there and lift weights or get rehab if he needs. If he needs to get treatment on a ankle or whatever, right?
Yes. But there's still I'd be curious. We'll talk to Nate Taylor about that tomorrow. Next up on What's Trending, Jalen Phillips. NFL news across the board. Jalen Phillips has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 2026 third-round pick. Only has 1 year left on his contract. I guess could be franchise tagged. Owed about $3 million in prorated pay the rest of the way. Tucker Kraft, unfortunately, did tear his ACL and will be done for the season. And Jaden Daniels did dislocate his elbow in Sunday Night Football game last night, getting an MRI today to find out how much time he'll miss. He certainly is capable, and I think people are fearing Gold. He'll lose the entire season.
Yeah, devastating injury news out of the NFL yesterday. All right, on to college football. KU got a win on homecoming against Oklahoma State. They were huge favorites. They backed it up. K-State at home lost to Texas Tech. Tech got their starting quarterback back and looked once again as dominant as they had earlier. Sets up a huge game this Saturday. Texas Tech, BYU, top 10 matchup. I think College Game Day's going to Lubbock, if I'm not mistaken. We'll talk more college football tomorrow in Drew's segment, but KU bounced back after losing a couple in a row.
We'll say Utah made a statement over the weekend.
Yes, they did.
They poured on Cincinnati, so that was interesting.
I think it is. I think Game Day is there. It's the first Big 12 game on ABC since 2023.
Jeez.
What?
That's because they become the SEC conference.
Well, at least that one you can get with the antenna because still got the YouTube TV dispute going on with ABC, Disney, and all that.
Next up on What Trinity, the KC Current wrapped up their regular season with another win yesterday. 2-1 over the San Diego Wave. They'll play in the quarterfinals coming up on Sunday at CPKC Park. They finished the season 21-2-3. 21 points of second place. They destroyed the NWSL this season. Now it's all just about completing it. Fell short in the semifinals last year. They've been the best team in the NWSL by a mile.
Yep.
So the KC Current wrap up their season 21-2-3. A ridiculous, and they've been without their star player for a little while. So that really speaks to just how good they've been.
They are the 1 seed. Quarterfinal action at CPKC Stadium is this Sunday at 11:30. They'll take on the 8 seed New York, New Jersey Gotham. And if they were to win that, they would also host the semifinals. So hopefully they have a couple home games.
You'll be at the semi if they get to the semi,
I'm out of town this weekend. So, if anybody wants to buy my tickets for Sunday, just hit me up on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, man. A quarterfinal match at CPKC?
But I will be back for the semis if, in fact, they make it there.
I felt so bad. My friends offered me front row seats to the Current game on Sunday because they couldn't go. In the middle of the Chiefs game, I couldn't go.
Yeah, the good news is quarterfinal this Sunday, if you're in town, it's 11:30 during the Chiefs bye week, so that should work out nicely. All right, lastly, college basketball kicks off tonight. Ooh. Yeah, we got tip-off already of a couple games. Drew's locked into like St. Bonaventure or something over there, I think.
Yeah, the Bonnies.
But KU takes on Doug Gottlieb in Green Bay tonight at Allen Fieldhouse to open up their season. MU on the road taking on Howard.
Ooh, the Bison.
Uh-huh. That's what's
K-State
trending.
kicks off tomorrow.
Yes.
I believe
that is what's trending. Here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, it is a Monday. Take advantage of $5.99 classic burgers over at 30 Hop, whether you're in Lee Summit or just down the street from us in Merriam, the great Grand Station. Beautiful new location there. $5.99 classic burgers. 30 Hop's your new go-to. An American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. Stop in for some lunch. Stay for happy hour. 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
It's a great spot, obviously. And the weather's supposed to be really nice this week. Getting some true, solid fall weather. Halloween went off without a hitch.
Everything good?
Yeah, like last year at Halloween, that same neighborhood there was like a police chase through it. There was none of that, so that was good.
Huh?
And then this year it was all pretty clean.
How was the golf cart life when you were sipping on your Yeti cup?
Yeah. Dude, we were out on...
Did you have your Patagonia quarter zip on as well?
No, not quite like that.
Yeah, you get some vineyard vines,
I
too?
was dressed like Smokey the Bear for the entire trip.
Anybody else think it was Teletubby?
We were out on the... No. Okay. The very first person who saw me there said, "Oh, you're going to stop the forest fire?" Like immediately, first thing. So they were on it.
All right.
We were on the lake. We drove around for 2 hours in that golf cart getting candy.
Your kids were fine being out for 2 hours trick-or-treating?
Only towards the end were they... Dude, we used to do way longer as a kid. Are you kidding? Just as long as I let them eat candy along the way.
Time probably flew.
How much of what's the dad tax these days? Like, be honest, how much candy have you been grabbing?
Out there when I want it, you know?
Yeah.
They understand. I don't even ask. I'm just like, I'm just going to take one of these. You guys got it. They're not going to eat through all that anyway.
Right.
The difference is that the problem I'm running into right now is Desmond will be like, "Hey, can I have a piece of candy?" I'll be like, "Yeah." But because of, I don't know, maybe there weren't enough kids, he got like 7 full-size candy bars in that thing. So every time he says, "Can I have a piece of candy?" Kid's grabbing a full-ass Kit Kat. Or like he's getting a full candy bar to eat. I'm like, well, not exactly what I had in mind when I said you could have a piece of candy, but whatever. I've already accepted it.
We'll get to stock up, stock down here in about 8 minutes or so, but let's get back into the Chiefs' loss yesterday against Buffalo. We know the trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 o'clock. This game yesterday should also serve as a barometer, though, for Brett Veach. If you're trying to see, all right, we've talked about what they needed, but now you just had that happen against one of the top teams in the AFC. I understand seeding-wise they're not, but I think we would all agree Josh Allen and the Bills are one of the top teams. In fact, they're the co-favorite with Kansas City to win the AFC. And you have to go get some defensive line help. And that's with me acknowledging that I don't know if there's anybody they can trade for that is going to just drastically fix everything. But you got to find something to incrementally improve this defensive line, at the very least, to give you some depth. To me, that's where you got some guys wearing down on the defensive line a little bit. I understand Jalen Phillips already got moved, but there's just no way you can avoid it and say status quo. Now, I wonder if, let's say we get through tomorrow and they don't make a trade on the defensive line. I would wonder, does that mean that they don't believe Steve Spagnuolo would actually play whoever they trade for? Because as much as I can sit here and say, go trade for someone, if Spags is not going to play the guy anyway, well, then I don't want them giving up a 5th-round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be coordination, and I'm sure there is, between the front office and the coaching staff. Hey, here's a player we think might help, Brett Veach is saying. What do you guys think? And I got to know that maybe not week 1 against the Broncos, or first game back against the Broncos, but at some point, is this a guy you think you can end up playing? Can help you out? Because, last year they did not play someone they traded for or signed. So I don't want them trading as much as we all want them to unless I know they're going to at least give that guy an opportunity to play some snaps.
What's weird is through 6 games last year, Josh Uche had pretty much the same number of tackles or whatever Chris Jones has right now. No sacks, though, for the team. If you want that gold, then you want them playing in bigger waters. Because if it's an end, although they did cut Hugh's time down pretty significantly, he played only 35% of the snaps. I think some of that's because of Josh Allen's mobility. Admittedly, I think teams put them in packages, or they put themselves in packages, And we can talk about Jaden Hicks tomorrow. He played practically none in a game in which they were getting beat up by more athletic offensive players against their linebackers, a position I think teams are intentionally putting them in. And I think that's
been happening for years
because of that.
Go ahead.
No, and you're right. But I think you kind of want him swimming in bigger waters. Do you got a name in mind? I think I'm officially on the Malik Collins train.
That feels like the name everybody's on, and I get it.
It's a perfect fit. I think it's just as much as about interior defensive line as it is guys on the edge. Chris Jones has not been taking over games like we're used to before Gold, which you had mentioned at the beginning of the show. His contract is affordable. He has been an effective player from the interior. He grades out everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's Pro Football Focus or a million other areas. He seems like exactly what the defense is missing, and has missed even more because they had Omar Norman Lott go down. They got no interior presence.
Yeah, I think that name is one to watch. The other one would have been Jalen Phillips that people saw, although the Eagles gave him a third round pick.
For that?
Now he's 26,
Rental
so
player?
you and I were discussing maybe the Eagles think they can re-sign him. I would not have given up a third round pick, though.
If you knew you were getting him on a long-term deal, I would have.
Yeah, but I don't think the Chiefs are giving any. It would not be giving him a long-term deal. Sure. So if not for a rental, another name to watch, Sebastian Joseph Day. He's a member of the Titans, interior defensive lineman. Yes, I understand the scheme is different there. They play a 3-4, and you wonder how Spags will utilize him. But if you're wanting someone that in the middle of the defense, can fill in for some depth, I don't know if he's going to be a name that you're going to be going crazy over the rest of the season, but I'm talking more of depth pieces. Sebastian Joseph Day, I don't know, what does it take? A 6-round pick, a conditional 6th, there's something to pull that kind of trade off. I don't think you're going to have to give up much for him.
No, I don't think so either.
Because they're not Jeffrey Simmons. We can stop dreaming about that.
Honestly, it's his number that's too high.
That's what I mean.
And so, he just doesn't make sense from a contract perspective. And I understand people are going to point out they don't have any money in the cap. They don't have a ton of money in cap space, but I also think that there's room inside of that number. Why else are people getting mentioned as potential trade candidates to the Bills? They have just as little money as the Chiefs do, but people understand that you can manipulate the cap in a way that allows you to do this. Look, he's got a lot of void years on his contract, which usually end up with the previous team, not the acquiring team. Don't usually take in these random cap hits to try to slowly space it out. He is only a $4 million cap hit this year, which means half of that for the rest of this season, go $2 million. Next year under contract for a little under $6 million. Malik Collins is a perfect fit for what they need. The reason why I am bringing him up is for that reason. And so,
he seems like a reasonable trade candidate, and that's why I also mentioned Sebastian Joseph Day, just because he's on the final year of his deal. He's making 6.5 this year, but we're already halfway through the season, so it's not a huge number that you're taking on. It's a 1-year thing, a half a season thing, I should say. Just a depth piece in the interior. Not going to have to give up a ton of draft compensation. So those would be two names I think we keep an eye on before the deadline tomorrow afternoon.
I forgot to mention in what's trending, Bobby Wood Jr. and Michael Garcia got 2 Gold Gloves.
They did. Congrats to Michael on his first.
Oh, Michael, what a season for him, by the way. Silver Slugger finalist, Gold Glove winner. He had his career year, certainly after coming off a year where people were questioning him as a full-time starter. Genuinely impressive what they were able to do. But yeah, are there other names? Let us know. 913-586-7965. Who else do you think possibly could do it? And of course, if you missed it earlier, Josh Simmons is back with the team. A lot going on with the Chiefs right now. Very, very, very busy.
A few people on Twitter were mentioning running back still. And I don't know, maybe I'm way off on this. You guys tell me. 913-586-7965. I don't really have much interest in delving in the running back waters anymore at this point.
It'd have to be for a significant upgrade, in my opinion.
Breece Hall is intriguing. If I know that I'm going to either tag him or re-sign him in the offseason, and he's the future starting running back beyond 2025. That's the only way I would be interested. I'm not interested in just trading for him and then just moving on, because next year they only have Brashard Smith under contract at running back, I think.
I'm not interested in trading for Tony Pollard and then just being like, he'll get 6 carries a game.
You don't need Tony Pollard, because to me, that's
what I mean. But I don't want some low-level running back. I want a guy who's either taking the job and we know it's his job.
I just feel like Tony Pollard, they could this is not saying they're the same player yet, okay? And I'm not saying Tony Pollard is an amazing football player, but what you described there with Pollard, Brashard Smith can be my receiving back out of the backfield and all that. They're they're not giving the ball to many of these running backs to begin with. Yesterday, everybody's upset about the run game because it didn't work, of course, on the first and goal. I think that was more scheme and more the fact they weren't under center than I don't think Kareem Hunt played bad yesterday.
Honestly, I thought he looked really effective early, and they got panicked in the play calling in the middle of the game.
The only way I would want them trading for a back is if you told me what we don't know, but the Chiefs do, and that is there a chance Isaiah Pacheco is out longer than we think?
Yeah, like a month.
If he's back in a week or two, more reason why I don't want to make a trade. Now, if you told me that internally they know that it's a month and a half or something or a month, then yeah, maybe they do need to go look. Otherwise, I really think it's defensive line depth, and that is it, and it's probably not going to be a sexy trade.
I got to say, watching Clyde, and I like Clyde as a person, but him getting any kind of carry
over Brashard Smith, yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't get it either.
Sometimes the loyalty to what are you doing? He was a first-round pick. He didn't work out. I didn't know why you brought him back on the practice squad, but it didn't bother me because he was on the practice squad. You're giving him snaps? Come on. Because what? He just knows everything in football. It's one of my biggest complaints about the Chiefs, who are great at it. Everything doesn't have to be about them just being good in a meeting room. Sometimes it can be about athleticism and talent.
Right.
That's all. They value a quiz taker.
I think they've told us they don't trust
versus an athlete sometimes, and I'm like, nah, let's just let the athlete do athletics.
I think their actions have continued to show us they don't trust Brashard Smith. And somebody said, well, they're done with Brashard Smith. They, the texter, he only got 3 carries, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, what did you see out of him that said, let's write him
whatever
off?
Your opinion was pregame should not change on Smith. I mean, he had 3 carries. It's not enough to change anybody's mind, good or bad. I mean, that was it. Now, I will stay on the not that I need to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire get carries either. I'm with you. The first run had never had any chance of working out anyway. The right tackle, Shawan Taylor, got destroyed. But I'm with you where it's why are you even going to just give the ball to Brashard Smith and give him an opportunity?
Or the guy you signed, Elijah Mitchell, whatever.
Let's get the stock up. Stock down. I'll start stock up. This is pretty simple for me. We saw it last night, but it's more about what he's done all year. Mike McDonald, the head coach
he's looking pretty good right
of
now.
the Seattle Seahawks. They are still the most undervalued team in football, period. AFC, NFC. Mike McDonald, second-year head coach. Remember, he used to be with the Ravens organization. He is still only 38, 39 years old, one of the younger head coaches in the league. He's got the defense playing at a high level. He's got his offense.
That's what's most impressive. He's a defensive coordinator.
With his coordinator is Kubiak. That offense has Sam Darnold playing at an MVP level. Jackson Smith and Jigba is no doubt a top 10 wide receiver in football. Statistically, he's even better than that, but we'll just say he's a top 10 wide receiver in football. I don't even think still they have the whole run game working yet, and they're atop the NFC West, a very difficult division. They'd be the number 3 seed, I think, right now in the NFC. Legit Coach of the Year candidate.
Sure.
Stock up, Mike McDonald.
I think almost an arguably stock up for him. My stock up is the Raiders' offense now that Brock Bowers is in it. Are they going to be a good team? No. Is Geno Smith still any good? No. But my God, that offense couldn't so much as move the ball 6 inches for the previous month without Brock Bowers. He shows up and all of a sudden they're capable again. Turns out he might still be excellent. And the only reason why their offense had any success in the early part of the season or at any point during last year, what a difference having one star player can make for a team on occasion. They got Brock Bowers back and they still lost. They're still a bad team, and I'm not saying that they're not. But they looked significantly better with Brock Bowers, who had 3 touchdowns yesterday. He was all over the field. He fried Jacksonville's defense for a huge chunk of the game. Hell of an effort from Brock Bowers, who's still, I don't know, obviously one of, if not the best tight end in football.
My stock up is Matt Stafford's MVP case.
Oh, yeah.
He leads the league in touchdowns. He has the least amount of picks other than Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, but he has significantly more yards than them, obviously. The Rams are 6-2. It feels like Matt Stafford all of a sudden has entered the chat in regards to the MVP conversation. He has been on fire. I don't know if you guys saw. He had one of those no-look passes again.
Yeah.
Similar to what he had in that
Devontae
Super Bowl.
Adams on that in-cut.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like it was just a 5-yard pass. That sucker was like 15 yards down the field.
He does it. The only guy who does it more than him is the only one who does it more than him is Patrick Mahomes and Matt Stafford. They love the no look.
Yeah, I mean Puka's hurt now again, but Matthew Stafford, if he stays healthy in that system, he's going to continue to play at a very, very high level. All right, stock down. It's a rookie year, and so I never want to say like somebody's career is just what it is already 9 games in. But stock down at least has to be trending down. Cam Ward, I'm sorry. Look, the Tennessee Titans are a mess. Right, they really are. Also now an interim head coach to add to it, but I have yet to see Cam Ward give me a glimmer of oh yeah, that's why. Hell, even in the game, guys, where they won against the Cardinals, what was the most notable play of the game? When he threw a pick and then it was fumbled and they recovered their own interception for a touchdown. It wasn't Cam Ward leading them back against Arizona a couple weeks ago. He threw an interception. He's statistically the worst quarterback through the first 8 games of his career in the last decade.
Yeah, he
stinks. Stock down at minimum, though.
Everyone keeps hanging on to the hat of remember when Josh Allen stunk his rookie year? Everyone will get better. For one Josh Allen, there's 19 Josh Rosens. And so they should probably keep that in mind. And look, I'm not writing off fully for Cam Ward, but he is bad. My stock down, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, who went to an NFC title game last year, did not have a great first run as a head coach and got himself run out of town the first time through. And now he's going to have the entire Washington fan base hating him. He will never have their support, and that's going to make it really hard for him to keep the job. For a guy who went to the NFC title game with his team, leaving Jaden Daniels in there yesterday in a 30-point blowout in a season where they were already struggling to get his elbow dislocated, Dan Quinn's going to have a hard, maybe not never, but he's going to have a hard time winning over DC the rest of the time he's there. His stock is down, especially in that area. He's always been kind of a mid-level coach for me. Not a bad one, not a great one, not a real difference maker, but not not Adam Gase, not setting you up for failure, I guess, if that makes sense. But his stock is still down just for that decision alone.
Was he the head coach when Atlanta made the Super Bowl that year? Yeah. And then Shanahan was the OC and all that other stuff.
Yes.
And then they eventually got run out of town because it went south after that.
Yeah. My stock down is on my fandom or sports luck, at least in terms of rooting. Multiple things happened this weekend. Let's start off with the Bengals game. So
we saw that.
So the Bengals were down 41-27. After Evan McPherson missed the field goal, I turned it off. The NASCAR championship race was when I was like, all right, I'm locked in. The Bengals lost.
And about a pick six got overturned. It would have been 48-27.
I saw that they took the lead, and I was like, hang on a second, I'm back in. Turn the game on. 2 plays later, Colson Loveland, touchdown. I was like, what is this?
Sick.
And my wife was like, don't turn it on. You're going to ruin it. Don't turn it on. So that happened. The night before, I see that the Blue Jays are up. I was out away, saw that they were 2 outs away from the World Series. I was like, I'm turning the game on right. I have to turn it on right now. I got to see the Blue Jays win the World Series. Very first pitch of me turning the TV on.
Bad luck.
Home run for Rojas. I was like, are you kidding me? Dodgers win, of course. Can't stand the Dodgers. And it just feels like the rooting interest is just failing me right now.
How's Wisconsin basketball looking this year? They fire up.
Wisconsin basketball, thankfully. Wisconsin football had a bye week, so that's a win for the fandom, I would say.
They're coming off an ass kicking.
Hey, at this rate, the bye week was a win. Going back to the NASCAR race, I was rooting for Denny Hamlin to win the championship. He is 40 seconds away from winning his first title. Caution comes out. Pit crew takes 4 tires instead of 2. He does not win the championship. My fandom this week, or rooting interest, had the worst luck of all time.
Is that like an Andy Reid not going for the 1? Is that the difference between taking 4 tires instead of 2? He wins the race if he takes 2?
I think he wins the race if he takes 2. In terms of what was happening yesterday in the car that he had, he would have won the championship.
Can you believe they chose 4 Cody instead of 2? That was
egregious.
Absolutely ridiculous. 3 races earlier, they took the 2 tires. Why are they taking the 4 tires now?
Unbelievable.
Coming out of caution? He could have finished the race.
I was stunned. Someone said I'm the American version of Drake. Drake at least has a championship with the Raptors. Yeah. I don't have a rooting championship. The Pacers,
all I know
the
is,
Bengals.
Again, you want to go get that Hooters outfit cleaned up and ready to roll for him?
They have the worst. They have historic DVOA-wise, it is the second worst defense since 1968 right now.
That is a little stock up, stock down. Up next, let's get back into the news in the last half hour or so. Josh Simmons is reportedly back at the facility. What does that actually mean? Plus the random question of the day.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
If something's felt off, like the energy hasn't been quite the same, maybe it's just been slipping away or you haven't been sleeping as well, this and so many other signs can be signs of low testosterone. And over at Synergenex and Low T Center, you can start doing something about it with TRT treatments. Look, they're the MVP of TRT treatments, and they use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone to increase your T level to make sure it is just right for you. Individual treatment options that other clinics may not offer, and the pharmaceutical-grade testosterone that other clinics may not offer. Look, treatment is covered by most major insurance, and affordable self-pay options are available as well. So why not get a free and simple and quick T-test at your local Synergen X or Low T Center and find out if what you've been experiencing is exactly what it is. For a limited time only, visit any Synergen X or Low T Center with a free hormone consultation and get a free T-test. Automatically enter for a chance to win autographed sports memorabilia such as jerseys, balls, or helmets, or you may even win a pair of tickets to a major sporting event in town. Synergen X and Low T Center are getting you to the top of your game, so go to TRT MVP to book your appointment today. That's TRTMVP.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
Get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select pairs of wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people can help you find the right wiper blades for your vehicle, and we'll install them for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Here in about 8 minutes or so, we'll get to the random question of the day, but the news in the last half hour or more, 45 minutes or so, I guess at this point in time, Josh Simmons, according to Jordan Schultz, is back at the team facility. As we all know, he's been away from the team with what they're been calling a personal/family matter. That's all we know. That's still all we know, by the way. But obviously a great sign that he is at the facility. It's a bye week, though, so we don't have any more information than that. Andy Reid doesn't speak till next week. Maybe there's some other information that starts to leak out. Does this mean he's playing in Denver? We have no idea. Does it mean he's playing in Indy? We have no idea. Certainly him being back and having a bye week to maybe get reacclimated is a good sign. Also, it comes on the heels of a week in which Jalen Moore, I would say, had his worst game as a left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs.
He was bad.
So there's more interest even for those that were like, hey, take your time. They're good with this situation on offense. The offense clearly could use one Josh Simmons back. We still don't know the exact details around all of that. What is your feeling just right now? Admittedly, we truly do not know. Do you believe there's a chance he plays in Denver now?
I think there's a chance because there's a 2-week lead up to it and he's back in the facility. I pointed out to you, I do not think he's allowed to work with coaching staff at all during this week. Bye weeks are bye weeks for a reason, and they do not allow him to go sit down with Andy Heck and run drills for the next 6 weeks to get him back into football shape. So do I think there's a chance? Yes. Do I think that they probably knew this was roughly the timeline and it's coming at a good time where they can slowly work him into the bye week and do this? Yes. Do I think yesterday's performance makes it a stronger likelihood that he starts against the Denver Broncos? Also, yes. But I also don't think you want to just blindly say, you're the starter again. I understand for all the obvious reasons. He was the starter. He's the better player. He should be expected to be the starter at some point this season. I think it's a tough spot to say, you were gone for a month, and it was under very quick and in the early going, unexplained reasons, even to the team, I think is how it worked in the early going, and you're just allowed to come in and have your job back. I think that there's a part of like football's always been about earning your spot and having to earn your spot. And look, I think the players like the best players. They don't care where you come from, and they don't care if you were gone before. They like the players who are great. And so they, I think, would accept it faster than the coaching staff, where they're going to have a conversation about if it's a good idea to make his first game back against Nick Benito versus waiting one more week to get him into the starting role, a full week of practice, a full week of being back with the team, that kind of stuff. Because it's not going to be 2 full weeks of practice, even if he's back at the facility.
No, it's hard to answer the question only because we don't know what kind of shape he's in. We don't know while he's been away, was he with an athletic trainer? Was he just working out on the side? Did he have access to, like, we again, without knowing the circumstances, it's hard to answer. If he's still in shape and all that, and because of the bye week, then I think there's actually a really good chance that he could start against the Denver Broncos. But we just don't have enough of the information to, like, truly even to give an answer that's not a bit of a guess at this point for Josh Simmons and his availability.
Yeah, and I guess, so, like, text line, 100% chance he starts in Denver.
I don't think the Chiefs can even tell you 100% today.
I mean, today he just got back to the facility. They haven't even seen him run a sprint.
Yeah. Someone also brings up the good point, too. We don't know the severity of Juwan Taylor's injury. That plays a role here because if it's a spot where they got to move Jalen Moore to right tackle as well, all of that is it. Yeah, I don't think anybody can say 100%.
Truth is,
yes, the way Jalen Moore played, we all want Josh Simmons back in there. Doesn't mean he's going to be. I think that's the difference. Someone says, basically, you want Moore to get Pat killed out there. No, but the player has to also be ready to be in that moment, and we just don't know if he is.
The reason why I think he's coming back now, I think Ian Rappaport put it pretty well. The reason why I think he's coming back now is not a football reacclimation. I think this is a mental reacclimation to the team. I think the reason why because he can't practice this week. There is no physical difference for coming back on this Monday or coming back 1 week from Monday. Mm-hmm. There's no physical difference for what he is allowed to do with coaching staff, for them to see him or get a sense of where he is, other than to speak a few words to them in a meeting room for a couple of minutes, right? It is a mental reacclimation. You're back. Here's your iPad. Study the plays. Let's talk about, spend some good time. Be back in Kansas City. Be back in the city where you're playing football. Get used to, maybe doing part of the rhythm a little bit. Not the practice, but Cody, part of the mental reps and the rhythm before next Monday. And by the way, next Monday, Andy will come in and be like, I haven't seen Juwan Taylor yet. I don't know how his ankle is. And I haven't seen Josh Simmons yet, even though we know that won't be true. I don't know where he is either. Talk to me on Wednesday. I think we know typically how those things go.
The other element, and I certainly hope this is not the case, but the other element, and I think it's very fair to question because we don't have the info, is also I want to make sure that he's at the facility next Monday. I'm saying that's the reality of the current situation because of how
that will ever keep you away from the team again.
How bizarre everything has been over the last month. At minimum, you can say it's none of our business, but you would have to admit, very bizarre, not a normal situation for an NFL player, one way or the other. And so, as great as it is, he's back at the facility. I want to make sure he's at the facility still a week from now, and the week after that.
So this is the part where I think people don't like having the conversation because, again, I don't require to know exactly what he was going through or anything like that. But yeah, I think a fair question for Simmons when he eventually speaks
by the way,
to the media.
Please do not send us the screenshot of the fake Facebook AI story for please. Thank you.
Whenever he speaks to the media, and players are required to do so after games in which they played and all this other stuff, at some point he'll probably talk. I think a very fair question he will have to answer is this something you expect? Is this a thing that could recur that would cause you to be away from the team for long stretches of time again? Or is this it? Now it's football. And just as long as you're healthy, you'll be with the football team. Because that's a real question I would have if I were the Chiefs.
He may not be able to answer that, though, either.
He might not, because it might have been a personal situation that he hopes doesn't come back up, but maybe he does. But, is this current personal matter with you or your family resolved? Is it still in the middle of resolution in the sense that it's done for the season, you're back with the team, you're planning to be back, and it doesn't have to be it's resolved, as in your portion of the support or action in this is resolved, and now you're back with the team for the rest of the year, is a more than fair question. Because if he comes back for a month and then has to be gone for a month again, well then, that's a whole different problem. I'm assuming he would not come back to the team unless he was sure he was coming back for the rest of the year. That's my assumption about his situation and what I think the Chiefs would tell him to do.
Right, and again, this without knowing for sure, but that might be the plan, but nobody expected him to also be away for a month either. So you're at a point where now, it feels to me like it's a week-by-week thing. At this point.
In a way, and at least in the short term.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think that's more than fair, where you've got to be like, hey, let's stack some days back together, kind of like in the back old training camp days, and figure out kind of where things are and where you belong amongst your peers. Because, it's one of the more unique situations I can remember in covering the Chiefs, because a player just being gone, this is not even quite the same as the Rodman thing, right? In Vegas, where you're just was gone for practice for a couple of days. I don't know. It's just like he was gone, and now it's like he's the starter. And look, I'll be honest. It'd be a pretty good game to have Josh Simmons back playing at the level he was playing at before he was gone. If he's the same player playing at the same level, I would say the Denver Broncos defensive line, Gold, is a pretty damn important game to have Simmons back and rolling. So whether or not they actually get that, I don't know.
If you're just joining us for the first time today on a Monday, reports from Jordan Schultz that Josh Simmons is back at the Chiefs team facility. All right, let's get to the random question of the day.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. Two-part question for you today regarding college basketball and its return today. Obviously, a bunch of teams in action. Darren Peterson will go for Kansas tonight against Doug Gottlieb's Green Bay squad. Missouri in action against Howard. K-State kicks off their season tomorrow. So two questions. One, there's games happening right now. There's a huge slate of college basketball. There's like 50 games, 60, 70 games, whatever today in college basketball. So the first question I have is, when do you start caring about college basketball? Not just you. I want everybody's answer. 913-586-7965. When do you dial in? When do you lock into college basketball? When does it mean something to watch to you? Second, in the early game, I saw a clip of Woj getting tossed from the St. Bonaventure game.
Yeah, or did he just get teed up?
Well, I thought he got tossed.
It seems like there's mixed reporting in this.
Oh,
because
okay.
Somebody reported he was tossed. The other person, there was another person who said Woj is still behind the bench, but he's not talking to the officials anymore.
Okay. Remember, Woj, the former ESPN reporter, is now the GM of the Bonnies.
In fairness, it's a
mixed bag.
It doesn't change my answer. My question is, how often have you ever seen someone tossed out of a game for arguing with a ref, or have you self been tossed out of a game for arguing with a ref at any level?
Right.
I have tossed somebody out as an umpire once.
Yeah.
I tossed a guy because he wouldn't shut up, and we made him go to his car.
So part one.
That was like 14, too. That must have been so embarrassing for him.
So part one of your question, as far as locked in, starting to really live and die by a basketball game, not until mid-January or later. Conference play, so I guess early January, I should say. That's where I'm at. Now, will I watch Friday when Kansas takes on North Carolina? Yeah, of course. And Darren Peterson's going to be a big reason why people should be watching, potential number 1 overall pick in the draft next year. But as far as really locked in, no, it's football season still for me. So it'll be early January before I'm like when someone's texting me and wanting to have a deep conversation about college basketball. In November, I don't have any interest in doing that.
No, that's,
That's just me personally.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I think conference play is a really common answer over on the text line. 816, I dial in, come Big 12 conference play. End of March was somebody's answer.
But honestly, what happens is they play sometimes these marquee opponents the first week or so, and then they play a bunch of crappy non-cons. So KU will play North Carolina, and then now their schedule's tough, but typically you'll have that game, and then you don't play anybody for a month. Anybody as in name brands. So I don't know.
Kansas play some big games. I mean, they play North Carolina this weekend.
That's what I
Yeah, I mean,
and then they got Duke, Notre Dame, Syracuse, UConn, Missouri.
T-Mobile for the Missouri game.
You gonna go?
I'm thinking about tickets were kind of crazy price, but I was looking.
They might come.
To answer your other question, have I ever been kicked out of a sporting event?
Or seen somebody kicked out of a sporting event for arguing with the refs? Specifically for arguing with the refs.
Yeah. I've never been kicked out. No.
Somebody said, I politely disagree with your call. Ref tossed him immediately in a conference basketball game that he saw. I will say, I think that maybe like a home field there in the Johnson County side, they might have it right where they put you up in you're in the crow's nest. They get you off the court so that you'd have to yell at a ref.
Out in Wyandotte?
Yeah, or Wyandotte.
Yeah, out by the Legends.
You'd have to yell at a ref to get their attention. You're not sitting on top of them.
That facility is insane. My nephew's had some basketball tournaments there. Yeah, it's awesome. The parents all have to sit up top, and it's great. It's a great setup.
I saw a kid almost get kicked out of a youth soccer game. It didn't happen. It was 6-year-old girls soccer, and this guy was losing his mind on the call. I'm like, sir,
that's embarrassing.
They are 6. What do you think? There's not Messi going for a hat trick. Relax a little, dude. You gotta find a way to be chill. But that was that guy that I tossed out of the game. The one guy I tossed out of the game, he was losing his mind because I blew a call. In fairness, at first base, I called a guy out, and he was definitely safe. But I told him I'm not gonna change the call, man. I'll just tell you. I called what I called, so it is what it is. But then he kept losing his mind as the game went on. I said, all right, you gotta go sit in your car. That was the rule at the facility. Get out of here. You're gone. And that's embarrassing. You don't want to toss. like a full-grown adult when you're a teenager out of the game because you're ordering balls and strikes for what? For what? They were 12. You're a single A kid because I thought sir, they're paying me $65 to do this. You think I'm going to get every call right? The umpires in Major League games can't get it right. Honestly, I wish in a weird way, parents shouldn't be allowed to attend youth sporting events. We should all have to watch it from a TV in the hallway or something. We can't be trusted, man. Are any of your siblings yell at the... I say nothing when I'm watching my kids use sport other than, you're doing great.
Yeah.
I don't ever say anything about the refereeing or the coaching or any of that stuff. I've got no commentary in that regard.
Yeah, I've been at some youth sporting events here recently where there has been, but nothing too crazy, thank goodness. What about you, Drew?
I
could see you being an ump or something, and trying to. And I could see you throwing somebody out of a game.
I have umped maybe. I didn't home plate umpire, like first base umpired before.
Okay.
And I'm pretty laid back. I haven't had any problems when I've done it. That was a very, very long time ago, though.
I got to say, the only reason that I should not do umpiring is I was terrible at it.
What Drew? Go ahead.
Critical.
The long, in terms of the history of me, have I ever seen anybody get tossed? Not for yelling at the officials necessarily, but there was one Pacers game. We were sitting down, a friend and I were sitting down in the lower level. This is when the Pacers stunk, so I could get $30 tickets for row 15. But somebody was cussing out the officials, like they wouldn't stop. It was really bad. And eventually this person got ejected or taken by security and removed from the stands. That was an interesting situation where it's yeah, that guy probably deserved it. You don't need to be doing all that. The ref never had an interaction with them necessarily, but it was just so bad that people around complained, said, yeah, you need to get this guy out of here. College basketball, I'm locked in right now. I got in the background.
Yeah, you've got a TV right next to you.
In the background over here, I got Omaha and Murray State on right now.
Gosh.
Also, I got women's basketball on ESPN on the TV. The Wisconsin Badgers play the Campbell Fighting Camels today. I'm locked in because Wisconsin football stinks. Similar to this person on the text line who said Auburn's football season's done. I'm locked into Auburn and Bethune-Cookman today.
I will say the text line's full of examples of this, and then I'll give you one more of mine. From the 816 as youth baseball coach, I had to kick parents from their own team out before. 816 probably throw 10 to 15 coaches or parents in the 5 years I did it. Had a parent chase me and my partner out to our cars with a bat.
That's ridiculous.
Some of you are out of control. My dad got kicked out of my 5th grade basketball game by a 7th grade referee.
I'll say this,
grader.
Look, I don't know the circumstances of that last text, so maybe there's, I guess, a good reason. Typically, I don't think there is.
Y'all gotta let this go.
If you are getting kicked out of your own son or daughter's sporting event, and they are under the age, well, frankly, any age, but under the age of, let's call it 12 in particular,
embarrassing.
You should be extremely embarrassed, and it's pathetic.
Yes. They just kicked me out of the game, as in I had to go to the bench. There's no locker rooms in this. I got kicked out one time by an umpire because I drew a line in the dirt where the ball was.
A literal line in the dirt?
A literal line in the dirt. Umpires don't like that, no matter the age.
That's...
What? That's where the ball was, Drew. Also, I understand. And that time, it's way more acceptable because you're the player. As a player, you kind of expect sometimes you're going to chirp or argue or have something to say. But balls and strikes will get you kicked out of a game pretty quick. But, it is insane. Who are you people out here causing problems at youth sporting events?
Chasing people with a bat is to their cars insane.
Yeah, that's out of control.
From the 816, when I played tennis in high school, I got disqualified from a match by my own coach for arguing with my opponent's mom. She was being a total B-word, is how he put it.
Jeez.
Getting tossed out by your own coach, man, that's ice cold.
Wait, so hang on a second.
You're arguing with your opponent's mom at a tennis match? This is insane.
I'm curious, though. So how were you as the player disqualified when it was the coach? Have the coach removed, and it stinks, but you're just on your own.
Well, the coach didn't do anything. He said the player was arguing with the opponent's mom.
Okay, I got you.
He
I thought you were saying
himself
the
was the
coach
one
was
doing
arguing,
it,
and the coach got it. Okay, I got you.
That is the random question of the day. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll get right back in to the Chiefs' loss to the Bills, including right before halftime, how Andy Reid and this team handled it. Cody and I differ on what the Chiefs should have done and the impact it would have had maybe on the rest of the game. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. Briefly, though, the World Series was an all-timer, at least Game 7, I would say, was an all-timer on Saturday. The Dodgers are repeat champs. They go back-to-back. First time since the Yankees did it, and on the NL side, first time since the Big Red Machine did it with Cincinnati. It has been a very long time. The Yankees did go win 3 in a row. So the Dodgers will be chasing that next year. Yamamoto ends up as the MVP. Just
the 3
ridiculous.
innings of shutout baseball
After pitching the night before.
Game 7, yeah.
Less than 24 hours later was absolutely insane. That was an all-timer, though. And I know sometimes you get caught up in the moment. I'm not saying it's the single best baseball game I've watched. That'll be selfishly the AL wildcard game here in Kansas City.
Probably.
But a game not involving a team that I care about, and it's Game 7 of the World Series, that's the best one I've seen. I can't imagine being a Blue Jays fan. You thought you had it. You should have had it. And the Dodgers still find a way to get it done.
That ball hit into the gap where he just steamrolls his own teammate. Just came into the game, came in cold, and runs.
Kiki Hernandez nearly hit the wall.
Yeah, he bulldozed Kiki Hernandez just to make the catch. I thought that was about to be as loud as like that wild card game when that Hosmer triple hit the gap and when 2 outfielders collided, and it felt like we got that moment. Look, I didn't want to make it about the bigger picture stuff today anyway. We can talk about the state of baseball, and there were a lot of people to watch that World Series. 26 million fans watched it. Only 16 million watched Game 7 of the NBA Finals. So baseball still got plenty of people watching, and it was and the series was just, I thought, punch after punch of like historic performances that finished in an electric Game 7. Every game wasn't close. Game 7 was, and obviously had some huge moments. But yeah, it's hard. Like Yamamoto's performance is one you're probably not going to forget. And it had a bunch of other moments in this series that were great.
And Kershaw goes out like that. Well, so I was hoping we win another inning or two because I wanted to see Kershaw pitch. He was warming up. He legitimately was about to get in the game. That's the only way it would have been cooler. He still gets to go out on top and everything like that, and obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer when the time comes. But that I was like, are we really going to see Kershaw pitch?
That would have been. Imagine if it went down bad.
Well, that's
his last outing, and he didn't get the out. Look, congrats to the Dodgers. I still think the sport has major issues, but you know what sport doesn't have problems? I guess baseballs are just about balance and equality amongst teams. And I still what's funny is it even more than a salary cap gold, which is not something that I think is even obtainable in baseball. I would just take a TV deal under one umbrella because I think that alone would put a significant balance back into the sport. Not solve all the problems and all the imbalance in the sport, but I definitely think it helps some. Our whole problem is the same. There are always going to be teams who don't spend money. There's always going to be teams who spend money like the Dodgers and Blue Jays, unless you have a cap and a floor, and one side wants a cap, one side wants a floor, and neither wants the other. Hope we don't get a lockout in a year because it was a fun baseball season. Also, I'd like the Royals back in the playoffs. If that's okay.
Yeah, that would be nice. Offseason is underway. Guys are not getting their options extended.
I saw Bellinger
picked
already.
Up, and we'll have some time over the next
couple of weeks,
winter meetings later on this month, early December, whatever it is.
Yeah,
right.
That's winter meeting. I think the GM meetings, maybe something's coming up here in November too.
Okay. All right, up next, let's get back to the Chiefs' loss to Buffalo and some of the decision-making before halftime and a loophole that I think has to be closed, even if it's not why the Chiefs lost.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Is your garage door too loud and whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue. I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
The Chiefs have been scoring a ton of points lately, and that means I'm saving a ton of money at Hy-Vee. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs, because I score big fuel savings when I shop Hy-Vee the day after any Chiefs game. Win or lose, I'll earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents a gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. So the more we score, the more I save, only for my friends at Hy-Vee.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for Hy-Vee's holiday baking sale. Make your list and check it twice. Time to stock up on the sweetest deals of the year, like Hy-Vee sugar, $1.99, brown sugar, $1.48, Hy-Vee butter, $2.49, peanut butter, $1.88, and don't forget the Hy-Vee pumpkin pie filling, just 88 cents. Jump in your sleigh and dash away this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Chiefs Checking for Community America is for real fans. Because real fans know tap to pay is the ultimate play. Zero fees mean you win with ease. And big savings at the team store means you can score more. And who doesn't love scoring more? Community America is investing in helping Chiefs fans step up their financial game. Get started today at CommunityAmerica.com. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
O'Reilly.
Get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select pairs of wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people can help you find the right wiper blades for your vehicle, and we'll install them for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
That's what it sounded like. I thought we were about to get to that right there. I thought we were about to get it.
He just envisioned Space Jam, man.
This is the instrumental version. This is the karaoke version.
I like it, Drew. I needed this today. I needed this.
The karaoke version doesn't even have the do.
I was waiting for it.
Even like when you karaoke at a bar, it usually includes that part.
1 o'clock hour here. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon. We'll get right back to the Chiefs in a second. Real quick, 30 seconds or so on it. KU is playing Green Bay tonight, okay? Season opener. Green Bay has a 29-year-old transfer.
How old?
29?
Drew, he's almost the same age as you.
About that. I remember that. I think we talked about it before.
Ramel or Ramel, Bethune or Bethie, I don't know. But he's 29-year-old. He's a Navy vet. He spent 5 years in the military, played at JUCO. Now he's considered the oldest D1 player, and he's only a sophomore, and he's 29.
Go.
So he could be playing when he's 30?
He's 6'9", and KU will be playing him tonight. Yeah.
So they're playing a 6'9", 29-year-old?
That is correct. KU's a 30.5-point favorite today.
Do we think college basketball should have a limit based on the new eligibility rules? Because there are things that are like suggesting like even NBA players could go back and play now, which is obviously insane, and I don't think would happen.
Yeah.
Different sport, fine. Like when J.R. Smith went to go play college golf or whatever. I don't really care.
This guy is 29. He's playing D1 college hoops. He gets to play at Allen Fieldhouse tonight. Good for him. You know, he served the military for a while. Good for him.
How many minutes?
Crazy story.
Tell you what,
He better get a lot of minutes. If you're playing college basketball at age 29, you better be playing.
I tell you what, I had a close, well, not a close call. I had to very quickly. I did not want to because I know how this show works. I did not want to be accused of like stolen valor or any of that stuff. Yesterday, so my friend Herbie Tiopi, who covers the Kansas City Chiefs, he is a military veteran, as you guys know. He's an Army veteran. One time, I was like hanging out with Herbie, and he'd given me a hat that says Army on it.
Okay.
And so every once in a while, I was running an errand to Costco. So every once in a while, it's the hat on the rack, and I just, like any other hat.
Did somebody go Army?
Someone said, Navy? No. The guy checking me out at Costco said, thank you for your service.
Nope.
And I
knew
said,
it was going there.
And I was like, did not serve? Don't have to thank me. Like, I just want to clear that up now. It's just a hat. And I was just like, a friend from the military gave it to me, so I was trying to like make it seem. But I was immediately worried, man. Immediately worried. Like, nope. So now I'm just never going to wear that hat again. So that's the end of that.
I could tell it was going there.
You could feel it coming.
I could feel it getting to that point.
A bucket list thing for me, though, is to go to Army-Navy game. I would love to go to that Army-Navy game. It looks like one of the coolest freaking things to watch play out, pregame and everything. Awesome.
Still, it's crazy.
Awesome
A 29-year-old's going to play college basketball tonight.
That is the case. All right, let's talk some Chiefs football here. And you and I differ on, and I think Drew's on your side a little bit here too, on the decision before halftime. And the Chiefs get the big play to Hollywood Brown down at the 1. All right, got to get 7. Got to get 7. 2-possession game. You had nothing going for you at that point.
Felt like you just swiped all the momentum. 3 big plays. You're on the 1-yard line.
Absolutely. First and goal. First and goal from the 1. Shotgun.
Yeah.
Hand off to Kareem Hunt. Stuffed. Timeout is called. 20-something seconds to go. Second and goal. Mahomes, this goes back to what you were saying earlier, flustered or whatever, misses an open guy. Third down, kind of the same situation as well. Fourth down, they elect for the 19-yard chip shot field goal to make it a 1-possession game. You lost it, I think, based on your tweet.
Oh, I was so mad.
You're not alone. And I know you're not alone. And let me hear your explanation again, because I'm not saying that there is not a case to be made for going for it. Of course there is. I just don't have nearly the problem with it for a couple reasons. But yours was more the inconsistency, it sounds like.
Yes, later in the game, I felt slightly better about it, knowing that Andy Reid, because more that I could view it as a blip in an otherwise good amount of moments this season, in which Andy Reid has been as aggressive as I think he should be. He should be an aggressive football coach. It matters. Mm-hmm. This team has the skill set and the offensive players to do it. I thought the problem was, and here's my biggest issue, they were in a game in which they were clearly being outplayed. They were on the road, and settling for a field goal there after you went all the way down the field in 20 seconds with a chance to get all the momentum in the world after you had lost it, knowing you were getting the ball back at half, it felt cowardly. It felt like old Andy Reid coming back to haunt us, and he was just going to go back to being conservative Andy for what reason I couldn't know. It felt like you needed that touchdown too badly in that moment, and it's 1 damn yard. And I don't care, genuinely, I don't care if it's the first, second, third, fourth quarter, unless it's a game-winning kick to end the game. If you are on the 1 yard line and it is 4th down, I think you should go for it 100% of the time. There is not a circumstance almost in which I think, unless you're going to make it a two score game in the 4th quarter with 2 minutes to go, right? There are these very rare instances in which it is not worth it. Too good of a team on the road. Felt like Andy was returning to his old cowardly ways. And then it seemed like a series of decisions in that game where I'm like, what are you doing? Because I thought going for the 4th and 17, which he got, by the way, was also insane. I couldn't believe, by the way, you guys didn't answer earlier. Did you guys think that one was crazy? I was befuddled.
Well, I mean, I was
pleasantly, what the hell? What the hell's going on?
I was pleasantly surprised they went for it. I didn't think it was like they were. The game was. I mean,
you thought they were in jeopardy either way.
Yeah, I mean, so
that one I actually agreed with more, but like that one was like, what?
Look, I think
you're not going to go from the 1, but you're going to go for 4th and 17. Which one was that more likely, more valuable play?
Yeah, like I think. There's no doubt you feel like it was a bummer that you only got 3 instead of 7 before half. I'm not disputing that. I mean, you have a play with Hollywood Brown who should have probably got in the end zone, frankly, but he's down at the 1, and then you don't get in, and so you get 3. That's disappointing. That can be deflating, but also they had nothing going for them. The field goal makes it a 1-possession game. You get the ball out of halftime. Unfortunately, little did you know, you went 3 and out to open up the second half. But I think my issue is more the execution. 3 plays before and the play calling. That's they refused to go under center for whatever reason. They're at their half-inch line, and they wouldn't go under center. That was my bigger problem with this, the sequence there. Play calling, execution, all of that. I also think, this is where analytics can be super valuable, and you and I have been pushing for them to be aggressive for a long time, and they have been.
Way more.
And it's been better this year. But where I take issue, because everybody tweeted out, not everybody, but people tweeted out the, hey, win percentage probability. When
I didn't even tweet that
5% if they, go for it is 5%. Okay. That's where sometimes I get frustrated with that. That does not also account for the fact that the Chiefs, unlike 31 other teams, won't go QB sneak there. It does not account for the fact that the Chiefs won't go under center there.
Very true.
And so that's where it's a little bit different story for them. It shouldn't be, but it is, than other teams. And normally in a circumstance like that, if there was 2 minutes left, I would say, oh, well, go for it, because if you don't get it, the other team has to go 99 yards anyway. Well, that didn't apply. It was basically the last play of the half, essentially. So you were not even getting the added benefit of, if we don't get it, they got to go 99 yards. You lost that. So I don't think it was as cut as dry as some people wanted to make it. I totally get the argument of why you want them to go for it. I don't think it was as like, what's the word? Outlandish or whatever, malpractice as others.
You're saying there's an argument. I thought it was like borderline idiotic. I thought it was just
I'm just not there. Yeah,
no, that's fine. Look, we don't always have to agree on a stance. Like part of it is the 4th, and I think this is why the 4th and 17 bothered me more and probably bothered you less. I mean, think about the moments in the game. Which play has more, even knowing the time in the game in which it exists? The 4th and 1 makes more sense. Going for it right there makes more sense than the 4th and 17. So why did you go for the less logical play than the one that was sitting in your lap that has the possibility of 7 points? And look, in this case, 4 points, admittedly, because they got the field goal. It's not a 7 point.
Yeah, and I know you're not. And I know you're not saying this. I saw a lot of the hindsight after where people are like, "Well, if they would have gone for it, then then they would have with 22 seconds only needed a field goal."
That's not my
way too many things would have had to happen. Number one, there's no sure thing that you get 7. Everybody's acting like that if they went for 4th, there was a sure thing. No, there's a chance they get 0 points. The other part is Buffalo probably punts the football. All right, punts it with 22 seconds to go.
Should have punted it anyway.
Should have, absolutely. But
Horrible
they
decision.
probably punt it in that spot, so it's not the same. And let's be real, as much as we like Andy's aggressiveness on the 2-point conversion, and you and I both know if the Chiefs would have had the touchdown before, Andy doesn't go for 2 on the earlier, they're actually still down 4. It probably doesn't go for 2.
I thought
he might, but probably not. Like, not likely or not a guarantee, I guess.
Just go run the damn ball under center, and it solves a lot of that.
I don't want to play the butterfly effect. It's just very simple for me in the sense that They had every bit of control of the game. And for the first time all game, those 3 plays, Gold, made me feel like the Chiefs had momentum to win the football game. It was the only time in the entire game in which I felt like the Chiefs had momentum to win the football game. And I thought it went the second they kicked the field goal.
I thought
second he kicked the field goal, I was like, done.
And I thought you can use the same sound effect. Would have applied to if they would have got 0 points. It would have gone. That's what would have happened. Okay.
But what if they? But like in our case, 2 of the 3 things lead to the fart sound, and the third one, the touchdown, which is still possible in that scenario, leads to like what felt like a momentum building play to win the football game. Yeah. So
I agree with you, Cody, in the fact that because I'm with you on the first half play where I thought going into halftime, if you get it, you got all the momentum, you get the ball back and everything. I do think. To me, it felt like, because that was early on, very early in the fourth quarter, they were down 15. It felt like, given how the game was going, they had to go for it there. Because if you punt and you get, and let's say, even if the Bills don't score, let's say they take 4 more minutes off the clock, you need to then score relatively quickly, either get an onside kick or hope you can get the ball back in time. I felt like they kind of had to go for
this. By the way, that play is also why everybody should be on board with the onside kick alternative next year.
The
15 or 4th and 20. Like, one, if you're a Chiefs fan because of that exact reason. But anybody, how much more exciting was that to watch? Not if you're a Bills fan, but like, how much more exciting was that to watch than an onside kick? And I understand Cincinnati got an onside kick this weekend, actually.
So 3 of what, 28 attempts or whatever?
They got an onside kick, and they led to what they thought was going to be the game-winning touchdown. So that was exciting as well, but onside kick alternative is going to happen next year. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I just made the live version of that same
Someone
sound.
says, if 3 or 0 both are fart, then you know the answer is go for it. Please save that Cody fart noise rolling on the effing ground. Yeah,
it just, I don't know. It just like
was Cody's better than the one that we have rolled in? Let me see it. Let me find Cody's then.
Well, that's a lot of fart.
That
noises.
other one is like a professionally edited one. You know.
Yeah.
That's hard to say. I don't want to take credit. I don't know. And honestly, it gave me, I felt a little bit better at the end of the game just knowing that aggressive Andy came back eventually.
Yeah.
Because Gold, at any point, admittedly, I'm constantly worried Andy will go back to his non-aggressive ways and we'll just be stuck in this, like, he's punting on the plus side of the football field. I had said, and this goes back to, like, none of the stuff I said in the game was hindsight, which I think stands for why I where I was. I had said on Twitter the same thing. When they went that 4th and 3, I said, I am fine with them going for it even though they didn't get it here because I know later that they're going to go for it at a time that I want them to go for it again. And I thought that 4th and 1 from the 1 was that time. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I thought that was the time. You went for both. You get one. You didn't get that one. So what? You get it on this one. The points are the points. You've made up for the miss. And it felt like going into half, we'll just take the points and we'll get the ball back. And I think some of their logic was they have been so much better in the second half of these football games moving the ball on offense. They've been better on offense.
Well, they were getting the ball.
3 of the last 4 games. I think they thought they would just pick back up on offense and things would get rolling again, and that's where they would get the momentum. Unfortunately, they just didn't play very well.
They thought by like the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, they could have the game tied by going field goal and then opening drive touchdown. They didn't. Of course, they went 3 and out. All right, one other thing, and by no means did this cause the Chiefs to lose, but this is a loophole that I think every NFL fan should want closed.
Yeah, I think so too.
The difference here as we talk about it is we're not suggesting that that's why the Bills won. I'm not suggesting it's rigged for Buffalo. See, that's the difference in these conversations versus other markets when they talk about officiating involving the Chiefs.
They're not allowed to get you and calling it in favor of your guy.
The fact, though, that for whatever reason, a ball that is tipped on a play where pass interference is called, they can do the expedited review and say, oh, our bad. It was tipped. No penalty. But the ball is tipped on intentional grounding. The refs don't see it. And Andy tries to challenge it because there's no expedited review. And they say, oh, actually, in the rule book, you can't. That's a loophole that just has to be closed. Yep. Why on earth can that not be looked at? If you can do it for a PI call, you're not necessarily reviewing penalties. You're reviewing if the ball is tipped. Nobody's saying we should review penalties. No.
That wasn't a hold. I don't need that in my life.
Reviewing if the ball was tipped, which would negate a penalty, is different than reviewing a penalty.
Because you can do that in the case of pass interference. Why can't it be done in that case? Again, it did not cost them a game. The Chiefs played a really bad football game. It'd be kind of crazy to think that that was the reason why they lost. Mm-hmm. It didn't help their comeback possibility. But again, I just like, my issue is that I don't like that sports have added review, but it hasn't improved the amount of calls they get right. I'm sure it has to some small percentage, but like not enough to add to the delays, to add to the questions, and to add to the controversy. Because what happens is that had this, and this is obviously part of it, is had this gone the other way, I would have had to hear Stephen A., Dan Orlovsky, and Rex Ryan, and whoever else talks on the Bill Simmons, and I'd heard every single national media person go on this whole big diatribe about how the league is rigged for the Chiefs and look at them making calls to help them out and all this nonsense. And that's not what happened. The call was wrong. Teams miss calls all the time. There was a holding call against Buffalo that was also wrong. And I don't want them just taking away holding calls that don't necessarily come to fruition. This is a tipped pass. So this is small. In the sense of Gold, I think they can fix it relatively easily. I will say, though, they cannot. There's that one Super Bowl game and then like 99 other games where they couldn't get out without Sheffers doing something weird. Although I was glad that they didn't call the roughing the pass around Josh Allen when he acted like Kramer getting spit on by Keith Hernandez. And he like threw his neck back like he had just been assaulted on the slide. So I was glad they didn't call that. They didn't call any of the roughings where Patrick Mahomes got hit kind of hard by Buffalo. They were letting him play a little bit yesterday. But it's like, but then sit and meet and talk. When that ball fell flat like that, and it looked like he was in a full range of motion, was that what I want to know is, and this is why I don't like that the refs are the only people in the field who don't have to be spoken to after the game about responsible, and he's got to talk, players got to talk. Refs have to sit there and say, when you guys were talking about that before you threw the flag, did you bring up the possibility of it being tipped?
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Was that discussed?
They do the pool report, obviously, which has its issues as well. I've told you, and I know why what your reaction is I'm probably in the minority here on this. I know people think, make Carl Sheffers sit there at the podium and answer the tough questions. Like that's just, by the way, never going to happen. And honestly, I don't think you want it to happen. Seriously, as much as
it would make the sport bad.
Yes.
They went up there. They'd never take any accountability. You'd hate it for that.
You would also have refs getting death threats. You would have, it would be, guys, it would not try, as much as it sounds like great, hold them accountable. I think it would open Pandora's box even more than what you think it already is opened up at. If all of a sudden every ref is answering questions in a room of 30 media members, are you kidding me? It just doesn't work.
Can we say
it just doesn't work? It's why no other sport does it either.
I would admit that
the pool report is done on purpose for a reason. And yes, you can say it insulates them and it protects them. Yes, but also I do think there has to be a little bit of protection. You can say the players have to answer questions. Yeah, it is not the exact same at all.
Sure.
It's the whole reason we're having this conversation. People think it's rigged. You'd have some ridiculous reporter in Buffalo, if the rules were reversed, asking questions like, why did you guys rig that for Kansas City? And all of a sudden he's answering questions about that? What are we doing?
No, I understand. Like
people would lose any sense of like professionalism when they ask questions if the refs were the ones. You would have blogger Bob out there from Buffalo or Cincinnati or wherever asking questions to a ref.
No,
it'd be terrible.
Fair enough. I your logic is pretty strong on it. I get that idea. It's just weird that like when they do things, and look, here's the truth. They all stand up for each other anyway and would never admit any fault. That's been the case for a very long time, and how they handle it. I will say it's kind of funny that the own rules analyst on the game was like, well, they'll just have to challenge it. It's like, you can't challenge. It's like, that's interesting. Whoopsie. Like even he thought maybe it was a challengeable play, only to find out that it wasn't.
The other part that was interesting just coming out of this game that I think the coaching staff, if this is true, it to me is an easy fix, but it's something they have to be aware of. It's normally something you discuss in baseball. But did you see Tyler Dunn? Somebody tweeted us as well, but Tyler Dunn was talking about Maxwell Hairston, the corner for Buffalo. He's a rookie, and he was matched up with Xavier Worthy through much of the night. And I'll just read you this snippet because I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is,
he's a very good in-depth cover.
I don't know if that's the case. If so, it's something that Worthy and the Chiefs have to get cleared up right away, just like you would say about a pitcher. So it goes on to say, Hairston ran a 4.28 himself at the combine. So no, he wasn't intimidated by Worthy's speed. He viewed this matchup as an Olympic showdown. Come on, line it up. When Hairston closely studied Worthy on tape during the week, he picked up on many valuable clues. He could tell when Worthy was getting the ball or not based on his body language alone. Quote, finding a difference in his posture and his effort for real when he knows he's not getting it when it's a run. So just applying what I saw from the film room taking on the field, there are tells that everybody gives. It's just about finding it. Yeah, this is not the first time that a player thinks they found something that tells them how a wide receiver wants to act. I'm just saying, if that's the case, you got to make sure that gets corrected if you're Worthy.
Two plays in that game yesterday that really stood out from Xavier Worthy that I fine to talk about it now, obviously. I had definitely penciled down as something I thought we'd talk about this week. And so he, on 2 of the deep balls, has to learn how to make effort on them.
Go get to the ball.
So on the first one, just go back to the ball, and it's an instant PI. Just fight back for the football, and because there's a little bit of physical contact there, if you stop and run toward the football, even just take a step towards the football, flag and
the ball tracking stuff.
Yeah, flag, and you immediately get it. And on the other one, it just seemed like he made no effort to get to the football. And I'm like, hey, man, if the ball's in the air, you're going to have to, like, challenge for it. On both times, it didn't seem like he was challenging for the football versus just hoping the ball would get to him. And so if I'm noticing that, so are the Chiefs, and I'm sure that's something they're working on with him. But, like, there was that's what Tyquan Thornton, I would say, even really on the play he didn't get, right, on the end of the game. He goes up trying to challenge for that football. Cole Bishop still made the play, knocked the ball out from behind. But, like, you got to challenge for the ball and give him a chance to interfere with you, give him a chance. He's great in space. That's just, like, one thing in his game, Gold, he's going to have to work on. Because those 2 deep balls they threw at him, same problem, just one was a little bit further past him at, like, a little way out this way. And one he could have easily gotten a PI on. And lots of guys do, just by challenging back towards the football. And I know we don't like that play. You can just underthrow a deep ball and get the PI. It's part of the game.
Got to utilize it.
And a skill set that he's got to learn. That's all.
So I wonder if Andy will be asked about Xavier Worthy. Now, look, they don't want to share it publicly either, but or next time Worthy speaks, like, do you feel like you basically do this? You change your posture when you know you're not going to get the football. You act differently at the line of scrimmage and your route running. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Again, this is not unique to the NFL. This is in baseball and whether we're talking about pitchers or anything else. There's tendencies that everybody has, and you don't realize it, and you've got to get rid of them and alter them because it's something people can pick up on. And clearly, this corner says he picked up on that. And I don't know, if it was 100% every single time, but he thought it was an advantage for him. And it comes on a game in which they shut him out. So
yeah, and he was quiet. Like Xavier Worthy had a quiet game. Rasheed Rice had a loud first half and a quiet second half. But, he had a quiet game. He wasn't like Hollywood Brown had a much louder game. And look, he was non-existent in the game before, but they didn't need him. And so, like, all those things go in there. But I do think that there's some – and look, he's a second-year wide receiver, still learning the job. And I think tomorrow maybe we'll go over some of we're halfway through the season. Let's take a look at some pacing for where some of these guys are looking and if they're having the kind of seasons that we anticipated. The everybody got to eat thing works, but you still got to put up a certain number of numbers to feel like you're getting somewhere. Right now, Xavier Worthy's on pace to have a worse season than he had a year ago. He's on pace for less than 500 yards and on pace for just a couple of touchdowns. And so that's worse than where he was at this time last year. And even if there are more weapons and more people to throw to, you and I didn't think he was going to backslide 150, 200, 250 yards from where we expected him to be and have his average catch go that far down. All those things are important, and those deep passes he didn't get yesterday were certainly a part of it. You don't like when a player comes out and says, I know you weren't trying hard on run plays. I'll say that. Coaches don't like that. That's for sure.
People are asking, it's fair, the shoulder stuff, is that leading to some
absolutely.
Of this? Yeah,
not fighting back for the football?
He's
sure.
not 100%. He's not going to be 100% all year. He's going to need shoulder surgery, we think, in the offseason. He's got a dislocated shoulder. But one thing that, this is why the bye week.
But if you say you're able to play, then you got to play like 100%. Everyone else. Andy Reid's motto is, you're the same healthy no matter what. We don't treat you any different. So your shoulder hurts. If you want to play, you got to fight back for the ball. I know that might be why mentally he's trying to get over that hurdle, but also Gold, that's part of the reason that, we're there.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending and the 5-4 record for the Chiefs. How worried are you about the division, the playoffs, what Mahomes had to say about the upcoming schedule? Next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Have you checked the weather in Kansas City this week? It's going to be awesome. It's going to be in that like mid 60s, maybe even touch the low 70s, a little chillier at night. You want to sit by the fire pit, sit on your screen porch, sit on your deck, but you haven't built the dream one yet. Build the dream one over at All Weather Decks. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net, where you can schedule a free estimate to build the right deck at the right price. Check out reviews of their work, photos of their work, and maps of where they've done work all over town. for the last 15 years in Kansas City. They've done truly tremendous, beautiful work. You can see big, long-scaping patios on second floors of homes. You can see those fire pit areas with the outdoor kitchen where you could be spending part of that chunk of time, building out and spending time with your family on that space. I love watching football outside on my screened-in porch where the bugs can't get me. If you've been thinking about that project and you know what you want to build, they'll build it for you. If you've been thinking about that project and you're not sure what you think it should look like, check out photos of their work at allweatherdecks.net. Wood deck, composite deck, patios, and pergolas, everything and anything you can think of for your outdoor space. Schedule a free estimate today at allweatherdecks.net or give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Since we opened our doors in 1868, Busey has fostered deep customer relationships and vibrant communities, embodying a legacy of partnership and progress. With multiple lines of business, we provide a range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. From digital banking to planning for retirement, Busey is here to help you achieve your financial goals. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. When you buy an engagement ring or fine jewelry gift from Shane Company, you get more than what you paid for. Our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. It covers everything. There's no fine print. You'll get unlimited cleanings, resizings, and repairs. Plus, it even protects your engagement ring's center stone. We stand behind the quality of our jewelry, and that's our gift to you this holiday. Peace of mind. Because a friend knows the best things in life are free. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with autopay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
Number one on what's trending, the news from the Chiefs today, or at least around their facility, but from Jordan Schultz. Josh Simmons, Chiefs starting left tackle, back at the team facility. It is a bye week, so we do not know if that means he's 100% good for a Denver game the week after. There's a lot of questions that still remain there, but obviously a great sign that Josh Simmons is in Kansas City. He has not been in Kansas City for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. And look, back in the area certainly makes it seem plausible that he would be near or around the team. You would think in a couple of weeks. Will he start? That we won't know until probably next week. We'll talk to Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider, about it tomorrow. Next up on What's Trending, a little news around the NFL. Jalen Phillips has been traded to the Eagles for a 2026 third-round pick. He's only got about $3 million left on his cap number this year. Tucker Kraft officially has a torn ACL, and they're still waiting on MRI results on Jaden Daniels to find out the severity after he dislocated his elbow in their loss last night. Also, the Cleveland Browns have announced that Kevin Stefanski will concede play calling over to Reese, their offensive coordinator. Usually the very first sign of you're getting ready to get fired. You know that's always
exhausting.
That's a death nail, man. Anytime you start handing off play calling.
Yeah, you're exhausting every single option.
Yep.
Yeah, the next thing, I don't know if their OC is already on the sideline. There's progression.
Sideline.
We're going to have our OC go from the booth. He's going to be down on the field now. It's going to fix everything. Then you hand over the play call. And I don't know what happened in Cleveland. I don't know if their play caller has been on the sideline, but you get my point.
I think it's Tommy Rees, isn't it?
It is Tommy Rees.
Notre Dame.
He's been up in the box, I think.
Well, there you go.
That's where he typically
You got to let him go down.
He's doing both. Coming down and making the plays.
Have him down on the sideline.
But either way, they're switching play calling up over there in Cleveland.
Elsewhere, local college football, KU got it done against Oklahoma State on homecoming. They needed that in a big way. They're 1 win away from getting to bowl eligibility with, 3 games to go. K-State lost at home to Texas Tech. The Red Raiders got their starting quarterback back, and they looked back to being what they were, and it sets up a monster top 10 Big 12 showdown. Texas Tech, BYU, College Game Day going to be there. 11 a.m. kickoff on ABC.
Next up on What's Trending, 2 Gold Glove winners for the Royals over the weekend. Bobby Witt Jr. makes it back-to-back Gold Gloves at shortstop for the Royals, and Michael Garcia. What a nice moment for him last night, receiving his Gold Glove, capping off an excellent all-star game season for him. We're at 286, 351 on base, a career year for Michael Garcia. Ends in the Gold Glove last night. I was happy for Bobby Jr., especially happy for Michael Garcia, considering it seemed like they were kind of in a no man's land with him coming off a career year and winning the Gold Glove. Very cool to see.
College basketball really gets going today. I know it's not all big matchups, although there's Arizona is playing Florida. That's a top 15 matchup. But KU has Green Bay tonight, the Phoenix Doug Gottlieb squad. They also have a 29-year-old. They'll take on KU. Missouri on the road at Howard. The Kansas State Wildcats open up tomorrow.
Ruse open up tonight.
Are you going?
Are you going
or are they on the road?
Against Evangel. They're at home.
They're at home. There you go. Why don't you go, Professor?
I have stuff to do tonight.
Like what?
I have to
go support your Ruse.
Do you think can you bet on the line for that game? Probably not.
No way.
Don't think we can bet on the UMKC Evangel line.
Probably an NAIA.
Remember, this was
NAIA school.
Remember, this was the
This
was the same game last year. I don't think it was Evangel that they won by 100.
Oh,
we
that was
talked
against.
about it on the show.
My goodness.
It was against some other small. Evangel University, a private Christian university in Missouri. They're right near UMKC. They're at 103rd Street in Kansas City, Missouri.
It's the same thing as when last year, as you said, UMKC played Kansas Christian and won 124-36, and we found out Kansas Christian's right down the street.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Similar matchup. Lastly, on What's Trending, KC Current did beat the San Diego Wave to wrap up their regular season. They finished 22-3-2, which is an incredible season. They'll play in the quarterfinals on Sunday for a chance to head to the semis. They're going to host both, obviously, if they win the quarters.
I guess there were two last year for the Ruse, by the way. 119-19 over Calvary University.
Oh, that's right.
But then they also defeated Kansas Christian 124-36. But that one,
we're going to put it on Evangel tonight.
Goodness.
You watch. I don't know if any of my students will be there tonight. Hard to say.
I mean, it's not that small. It's not that small of a university.
Now, we've already promised, and I'm going to look at the schedule here soon.
Okay.
We're gonna get to a UMKC game this year. Who do you want to see a conference game? I think we all want to see a conference game, don't
I think we talked about one of the Dakotas, like South Dakota State and North Dakota State.
We did look at some dates in, I think, November that looked like they would work for us. You guys, I guess, question 913-586-7965, then we'll talk some Chiefs. Would you guys all show up to a Ruse game with us? Make it rowdy. For one Ruse game, it's 20 rec. Let's make a rowdy Cody and Gold
sound
atmosphere.
like a zoo?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Let's make a Cody. Let's let Cody and Gold show up to a Ruse game, and let's make it rowdy for the Ruse. Let's make and let's choose a night that I have class. I'll tell them they can all not go to class if they show up to the basketball game. I'll trade off. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that. Surely. Who's going to stop me?
You're in charge, Professor.
Who's going to stop me? I'll even let them skip class if they show up to the game. Class credit will be for showing up for the Ruse. We'll make a rowdy group. It'll be fun.
We looked into it last year. They have that pregame club you can go to. It's pretty cheap.
It would be
super cheap.
It would be hilarious if
Marvin
somehow,
Menzies. Let's go.
It would be hilarious if somehow the word got to the department chair that you let that you counted a class credit as you go into the game, and then you had to have a meeting or
I'm
a sit down.
supporting the university. That would be pretty funny for this
funny.
show's purposes.
It would be.
If I had to have a sit down with the.
People are saying that the school that they're playing at is Springfield, Missouri, Cody.
Oh, really? Okay. I looked up one. There was one in Kansas City, Missouri.
Is there multiple? I mean, it doesn't seem like that unique of a name if we're being real.
Yeah. Maybe it's the Springfield one. I don't know.
Yeah. Someone says, "Will Drew show up shirtless with a with a rue on his chest?
No.
Or spell out you and me?
No.
KC.
Can we get 5 people to spell rue up? Can we get Carrington and Rob and we all paint our chests and it says rue up?
Someone says, "Easy now, Cody. That's my alma mater that they're playing." They said Cody's going wild with his power. See what happens. He gets a little bit of power, and look what he's doing.
A little bit of power. What? Being the teacher for 2 classes? It'll be fine.
All right, let's get back into some Chiefs football. So don't forget today, $5.99 Classic Burgers over at 30 Hop. They're our Monday lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Locations out in Lee Summit. They got a location there. They got a location just down the street from us in Merriam, the Grand Station area. You can stop in for lunch if you're having a late lunch, stay for happy hour. But $5.99 Classic Burgers all day on Monday. Great deal. Local beer, American Eats, big patio. So the Chiefs are 5-4. They go into a bye week. They're currently out on the playoff field. They're the 8th seed. How worried are you guys about each of the following? Division and making or missing the playoffs? Because to me, I'm still not concerned about the postseason yet.
I'm like 95% sure they're going to be a postseason.
They're out of the field now. There's, to me, nobody really behind them that they're going to deal with. It's the Jags. Can they be, if we're just talking making the playoffs, not what seed, just making it, they just have to be one game better than the Jags the rest of the way. And I know that's not the bar that we're trying to set here, but
seems like a pretty low bar for the playoff
that is the reality of making the postseason. Can they be one game better than the Jags? Or unless you think the Chargers fall apart or something like that, then that's a different conversation.
I think they might with Joe Old hurt, but I'm not going to count on it yet because Herbert's still playing really well.
I'm not worried about the postseason yet. The odds out there tell you they still have like a 70% chance to make the postseason as well. The division, I'm very concerned about that. It requires a win out of the bye week against a Broncos team that's rolling right now. Even if you don't think they look all that impressive, they still are winning games, just like the Chiefs were finding ways to win games a year ago. The Broncos are doing that same thing. And so the division, it's a must-win against Denver. If you lose to Denver, to me, I do think the division is over.
I agreed. I think the 1 seed's already dead.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's like a 1% chance at the 1 seed, a 95% chance they make the playoffs. So I'm telling you right now, I'm not fearful of that in any way. Although, admittedly, that percentage takes probably a 20% hit if they lose to Denver in 2 weeks, down to like 70 or 80%, right? Depending on where we are. I think the division is a coin flip. I think we are truly in a 50-50 situation. And if Denver or the Chargers, and the Chargers are not the team I'm worried about, and you and I weren't worried about before the season. If Denver had just been playing slightly better, I would be even less or even more worried about their ability to do it. What I can't put a finger on with Denver is I don't think Bo Nix is playing very good football. And normally I wouldn't think that a quarterback not playing very good football is going to be the one who takes the division away from the Chiefs. He is, however, playing good football the second the fourth quarter starts. And so I can't figure them out because great come from behind wins against Houston, who's playing a lot better football and does have a very good defense, so you're not expected to do very well against them. Great come from behind victory against the Giants, who they were trailing by a ton. And so, they just keep coming from behind to beat these teams, and I'm taking it as a positive right now, which is why I have it 50-50. If I decided they're going to choke, and that's why they're winning all these games under razor-thin margin, well, then I'd tell you the Chiefs are 60-40 to win it. But they've won 6 straight games, and I'm not going to ignore that. So the division is at real risk. But if they win the game on, it's pretty simple. They win the game on Sunday, then I think it's like a...
Or after the bye,
Yeah, after the bye.
Yeah.
If they win the game after the bye, I'm probably like 65% chance of winning the division. If they lose it, I think it's like 5%. Like almost 0.
Here's who the Broncos also have, coming up for them. So they have the Raiders Thursday night, okay? Yeah. They're 10-point favorite, 9.5-point favorites. Then the Chiefs, then the Commanders, who will not have multiple pieces, including Jane Daniels. Then the Raiders again. And then it's the Packers, Jags, Chiefs, Chargers. So the final 3, are a little more tricky perhaps. But Raiders, Chiefs, Commanders, Raiders again, that's not the worst stretch there for Denver. If they beat Kansas City, they're looking like they could very quickly be a 10-2 football team in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, yes. And then it's a runaway. Look, this game is going to be, and we'll talk more about it later in the week, but I mean, this will be the third straight game where it's going to, or not third straight, third game this year that already feels like, well, if you want to accomplish what you were planning on accomplishing it, I would probably go ahead and start now. I could be wrong here because I was wrong about the Bills game and all that. Who is a huge believer in Denver? I'm not saying they're not, the defense is a real thing to believe in, and it absolutely is. But is anyone going to come on this show? Anybody willing to be like, no, Denver's the real deal. They are a Super Bowl threat. They are a real problem. Because
real deal to win the division, though. Real deal to be an AFC West champion. I think they're a real deal for that. Do I think Bo Nix? The same thing with the Daniel Jones deal. And Daniel Jones playing a hell of a lot better than Bo Nix, by the way, even after Sunday.
Yep.
If it's is it just the quarterback for you? Is that what it is? Like, hey, I can't imagine Bo Nix winning 3 playoff
and their
games.
Offensive weapon. I just don't like the way they play offense.
Yeah.
Every single game is close, including that ugly game against the Jets, because they're not an efficient offensive team. So they're relying on, and this isn't the Peyton Manning-led team, or at least you still had Peyton Manning on the other side. They are a great defense. I don't think that that's a trick or a mirage.
Yeah.
They are a great defense. They can get to the quarterback. They can blitz and rush anybody. They are excellent in that regard. They continue to put themselves in harm's way every week. They are behind in every game they play. Bo Nix isn't playing well from behind. And some of the teams they're beating these games are not teams I really, truly respect. In Houston or the Giants. Now, they came from behind against Philly. That is a team I think is very good.
Yeah, that's their most impressive
And
win.
so I do think that. It's just hard right now because the top 4 teams in the AFC right now, seeding-wise, are the Patriots, Colts, Broncos, and Steelers. And when I say, do I think they, am I worried about the playoffs? If you tell me the playoff field is those 4 teams are the 4 best teams in the AFC, well then how can I be worried about their playoff chances right now? Those are the 4 best teams?
Right, assuming they get in, which you and I both think they will. But nobody wants to be the 7th seed. But
I just meant their chances to get to the playoffs. I'm having a hard time imagining that if that's what the AFC is looking like currently constructed, that the Chiefs aren't a playoff team. Does that make sense?
You and I both think they're making the playoffs. I'm just saying, what the Patriots are, the Chiefs don't play the Patriots. That has no bearing.
I just meant from this is what it speaks to what the conference is.
I think it's the Broncos, it's the Chargers, and it's the Texans that not the Texans, the my goodness, Jags. Sorry,
Jags. Yeah,
the Broncos, and the Jags in particular, and the Chargers. Those are the 3 teams that I'm keeping an eye on for the Chiefs playoff / division.
Are we all eliminating every AFC team? Drew, I'm curious too. I'm willing to eliminate every AFC team below the Chiefs, except the Ravens, who I'll give a chance to win the division against the Steelers, albeit a long shot. Everyone else
Texans are done.
Texans, Bengals, Raiders, Browns, Dolphins, Jets, Titans. We don't have to waste our time with those.
No, I agree. I think there's
only one additional team. It's just the Jags. It's Chiefs, Jags. If they were to end up as a 7 seed,
because I know you guys talked about this earlier. The race is really interesting when it gets down to the next 2 games in particular, as well as what the Jags have in the next 2 games, because obviously the Chiefs have the Broncos, and then they've got the Colts. The Jaguars have, I forget who they have this upcoming weekend. Then they have the Chargers after that. So I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you might ironically root for, depending on what happens against the Broncos, you might ironically be rooting for the Jaguars or the Chargers to beat the Jaguars because the Jags have that tiebreaker where if something happens, and I don't think the Jags would do this, but let's say the Jags get to 11-6. They find a way to get there with the same record as the Chiefs. That tiebreaker could ultimately decide the final playoff spot, where you obviously got yourself into a tough spot. They beat the Ravens, so they wouldn't have to worry about that with the tiebreakers. But I do think, to your point, below the Ravens, you can get rid of everybody in the AFC. I think the Ravens are the only team, and maybe the Ravens might even be at the point where they have to win the division to get in.
I think that's the only way.
It
They're
feels
already
like
too far behind.
The Steelers would have to really keep falling off, and they're coming off a huge win. And then the Steelers, I think they play Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Yeah. In 2 weeks, not this coming week. In 2 weeks.
I can't remember. It was like the analytics community.
It is this Sunday. Yeah.
I'm still surprised by the split on the analytics community because I saw somebody say, I can't believe I was ever going to get to this point, but I would absolutely take Bo Nix over Trevor Lawrence. And I found myself agreeing. And the analytics community was like, are you insane? I'm like, who's still stuck on Trevor Lawrence? Who's still caping for I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence to be like my
preseason conversation.
Trevor Lawrence to be like my 24th quarterback I chose if you let me do a quarterback draft. 22nd, I don't know.
And you have been...
He'd be so far down my list.
You've been on that side for a while. Now, you also did say, and it was a lot of us did, which is Bo Nix, you thought was going to have a huge sophomore slump.
I did.
And all he's doing is doing what the Chiefs did last year, which is winning close game after close game.
He still doesn't look impressive to me, but I'm taking him over Trevor Lawrence right now.
Weird.
I agree that they don't look impressive, but at some point the results are this is like the counter argument to we got frustrated when people were saying the Chiefs are winning, but they don't look impressive. Now the Chiefs have the history, the track record.
That's it.
That's what it was. Whereas
the
Broncos are winning close games. They're a 7-win team. I don't want to do the same thing necessarily and be like, well, they're not any good. But I understand what you're saying, which is offensively they don't seem as much of a threat. But what it is, their defense keeps them in games. Even if the offense is slow, their defense keeps them in. And then Bo Nix just needs 1 or 2 drives late, and he's been getting them. When he has to have a drive, to his credit, he's figured it out.
And Trevor Lawrence doesn't do that, at least. So, I mean, if I'm just choosing between the two. Would you guys take Bo Nix? You're redrafting for the Chiefs right now. They have to take a quarterback. Would you get to Bo Nix before Trevor Lawrence?
Same age and everything, or what?
No, just current right now.
I'll still take Trevor Lawrence.
I think.
Is it close?
Yeah, it's close, but I would still take Trevor Lawrence if I was drafting and I got to pick my coach, my GM, my receiver,
the quarterback of the Chiefs.
The same philosophy that these GMs do. I'll fix them. That's what I'm saying about Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know, unfixable, man. That man's broken.
I think I would take Trevor Lawrence. It is funny though how all of this has gone. I would take Joe Flacco over both of them in a heartbeat. It would be the fastest yes for Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco ripping off 450 yards in the loss.
I'm telling you, Joe Flacco with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. This offensive line. I would take him over Trevor Lawrence and Bo
For
Nix.
1 year, not if it's a draft.
Rapid fire quarterbacks I would take if you made me start right now. Patrick Mahomes had to be traded straight up for a quarterback
For this season.
Just for the rest of their career, whatever. They're my starting quarterback now. They are my franchise quarterback. Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, May, Love, Herbert, Hurts, Stafford, Allen.
Daniel.
Would you take Drake May?
Daniel Jones would be close.
Would I what?
I'm curious. Would you take Drake May for the rest of their career, given their age right now as they are? Would you take Drake May or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson's won 2 MVPs.
I know. I understand that, but if we're talking the rest of the career,
Lamar.
You're talking.
I'm taking Lamar still.
Okay.
I'm still taking Lamar.
Okay.
Would you? Are you? It's fine. Would you say Drake May?
I think I would still take
All
Lamar
right.
Jackson, but I think I would have to think about it.
Interesting. Okay.
Did one of us say Bo Nix is not coming from behind to win? Text line says that's what he's been doing all year. I thought we were giving him credit for doing that.
I think we just said we were not impressed watching him play. But
No, I'm not. Like, he looks incredibly mediocre.
Who was it that said he's bad
Until
for
the
4
fourth
quarters
quarter.
and then for 3 quarters and turns into Joe Montana? Was that
Matt Verderame last
That
week.
was yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I can't.
It feels a lot like that.
And I still think that's an accurate assessment.
Yes,
Kind of happened
I
again
agree.
against the Texans.
I agree.
It did.
I mean, that's basically what just happened. They had nothing going offensively. Their defense played amazing. Stroud gets hurt. Defense plays great with Davis Mills as the quarterback. And then when they had to have a big drive late, he finds I don't know if it was Cortland Sutton or whoever he threw that touchdown. Franklin, I don't remember who threw that touchdown.
I feel like
RJ Harvey. Sorry, I think it was RJ Harvey.
As pointed out by the
He
text
actually
line,
hit a really good game.
I think we're like 6 years away from like Trevor Lawrence being the end of Patrick Mahomes' career backup. Like, he's just going to be like sitting behind somebody in 6 years.
You think that's where it's trending?
He's awful. What about Trevor Lawrence's career numbers or view or look impress anybody anymore? He has had, and he is way into his career now. We are not like too early.
Sure,
on
but he's
Trevor
still going to be a
Lawrence.
starting quarterback for a while.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I said 6 years from now. It would be 32. That's when he'd be back.
He'll still be a starter. If we had to make a long-term bet, Trevor Lawrence will be a starting quarterback when he's 32.
I wouldn't even know. This would be the stupidest bet. You're texting me 6 years from now when Trevor Lawrence.
He's starting week
and then
one.
we have to determine. He'd have to be a starter for more than half the season, in my opinion. He couldn't come in for someone injured or something.
I think if
or
he,
get benched 4 games in.